Welcome to the after party. Welcome to the after party. Did you bring some snacks and treats?
Yes, it did.
I hope you got me something to eat.
Maybe.
Welcome to the after party. Coming to the after party.
Right now.
I've been waiting here all day to act like a fool this way. Welcome to the after party. Join us in the after party.
Right now.
Oh, chocolate and gabbing, maybe some microphone gabbing at the after party.
Oh, I left my crumpets in the toaster. With DJ Eric Page. Where did he go? Oh, Ben was in the stream. I know where he's gone now.
Yeah, where is he at now? Who knows?
Obviously,
Who
there
knows
was a
where he's
disaster in the old toaster, but
all right, everyone. Welcome to the after party. Glad to have everybody here today. I'm joined by Willie Warrior,
Protectors of Willies Worldwide, yeah,
and Lance down here below. By the way, Lance now is doing content on his channel, Arrowverse, and superhero content. So, what are you going to be covering, Lance? Like, give us an overview. What were you saying?
Was also the sexually explicit.
Oh no, there we go. We're not even 2 minutes.
But I think that might be confined to the YouTube short section, so maybe don't expect 10-minute videos.
So, what are you going to be doing? I know you're doing your drum stuff on the channel, and you're also going to be doing reviews. Is there any other stuff that people can expect on your channel?
Really just reviews. Probably thinking about doing like a top 10 list for some things. I was thinking about doing one as soon as I finish these 2 episodes of Stranger Things. Just stuff like that. I put up a video about my perspective on the whole Superman and Lois thing earlier today. So
okay, so head over and check out Lance's channel, show him some love, and I think you have to have 1,000 subscribers to do a live stream, right? Isn't it a certain amount that you have to stream on YouTube?
I have no idea.
I don't think so. You just got to unlock it.
Okay. Well, whenever you unlock that, I'm assuming people are going to be ready for some live streams over your channel.
I think I've unlocked it. I got to go and check, but since you put me on how to do the whole StreamYard thing too, I've been in there playing with that.
Yeah. So we'll look forward to that.
Just please, for the love of God, do not do the slideshow. I swear to God, if you start doing slideshows like Eric does, I might have to cancel you.
Oh, okay. I can't do slideshows when I do car reviews. It's impossible.
Well, that's one positive from the car reviews.
So we are at the end of season 8 for The Flash and season 2 for Superman and Lois, and it is not without controversy. So on Superman and Lois, there's a lot of controversy. We did an entire live stream dedicated to that. So we are not going to be spending like an hour here talking about it. Yes, I'm going to recap it. I got a couple things that came out afterwards that I'm going to talk about. But if you want to know what we thought about it, like and other people, because we had a lot of guests on that stream, it is up on the channel now. And I know a lot of people don't expect like streams if they aren't scheduled. So that was kind of a random stream in the middle of the week. But go over and check it out after we're done here. It's got a lot of our thoughts on that specifically. Also, The Flash had some controversy. Not anything as bad as Superman and Lois, but just in general, there was some controversial stuff on there. So we are going to be talking, obviously, spoilers for both of these. And next week, I plan on doing, hopefully, some season overviews, like basically talking about the entire seasons and unanswered questions and stuff like that. So we'll be doing that on the next after party. So make sure you guys tune in for that one. And this week, we're not going to do any small stories. We're literally just going to talk about the 2 episodes. But if you have any super chats about stuff, we will, feel free to do that and we will answer those questions. And at the end of the stream, I'm going to announce the winner of the $20 giveaway. And I have to tell you, let me explain the process for finding this, right? So there are websites that will let you go in and put in like a YouTube video or videos, and then you can tell them like keywords and whatnot. A lot of the ones I went to were bad. It was like the 3rd or 4th one where I had to do it to get it figured out. And every single one of them had 1 million pop-ups. So I need to find another way to do this because it was really difficult, but I do have a winner, and the winner will be announced at the end. So stick around for the end, and then, I'll tell you who it is. All right. So with that being said, we're going to talk first about Superman and Lois. Let's go ahead and do that one first, and we're going to be talking about episode 15 of season 2, titled "Waiting for Superman."
Oh, I was waiting for Supergirl.
Oh no, I was maybe possibly.
Well, sorry, that was Ben. He was waiting for Supergirl, but
so with this episode, we had great moments in the finale that got overlooked due to the drama. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Did you go back and watch it again a second time? I did. I went back and watched it again a second time now that I was over like the drama of that little speech that was made. On a second watch, I found issues with the episode that were not obvious to me when I watched it the first time.
Ooh, interesting.
But I still think that everything outside of Sam's speech, for the most part, was fine for that finale. Like, there was nothing there that seemed bad. Like, if they would have left that speech out of the episode, I don't think people would have had nearly as much of a problem with it as they did. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think with the finale, the things that were probably like a weak part and that people might not have liked the finale for were the same issues that have been there probably not the entire season, but definitely that last like third of the season, where Jonathan's just standing there going, "Oh, I'm Jonathan. I won't say anything important, but my name's Jonathan."
Right.
And then Lois is like really a non-entity as well for the most part in regards to like the main storyline.
Right.
And that continued in the finale. So that's just so those issues that were already there were just sort of also there in the finale. I don't think the finale didn't finish what it needed to do. You could argue that the Ally thing was just a bit very quick. But I mean, Superman was overpowered as hell. I mean, if it wasn't quick, it would have been.
Well, and Josh here says, and I agree with this, the first 35 minutes were the best part of the episode. I feel like the strongest part was the first half.
If you don't have too much issues with the weak points of the season, because they were still there.
Right.
But like for me, I was in the position where I was like, well, what can they do with Jonathan?
Right.
Like the only thing I was wondering was like, I wanted his I thought the Bizarro Jonathan, the Bizarro Lana would have played a part in the finale more. But they were sort of like non-entities as well. So that was my only thing. But there was a lot going on. There was not really much time. Like what they would have showed up and just got smashed by Superman as well. Yeah. Like uppercut or something across the universe. So
what about you, Lance? Did you watch it a second time? And what are your general thoughts before we break it down all the details?
I just went back and watched the parts that I had like basically glazed over.
After the big surprise, we're not on Prime.
So went back and watched some of those parts, and I agree. The first 35 minutes, which was basically the battle, him getting repowered. After that, it was downhill for me. Yeah, I agree with the whole Jonathan and Lois just standing around screaming thing. It was,
All right, so let's talk about the beginning. We have Tauro arriving. He says he wants to try and take on Ally because of the feats of his brother, saying his brother is the strongest of all the heroes, which kind of contradicts something that Sam Lane says later in the episode. If you're talking about pretty odd, so the Sam Lane speech basically says that there's no other superpowered beings on this earth. So saying that Superman is the strongest of the heroes insinuates that there are other powered characters, because obviously if all the other heroes are street level vigilantes, Superman would be the strongest one. So I'm not really sure what that statement meant. But when he says it early in the episode, so they don't think about it after Sam makes a speech, which is weird. And then he tries to attack Ally and he fails attacking Ally because clearly
the first L.
Yeah. So
I thought that was very dumb.
It really was.
Like, and why would Clark let him do that if Clark knew he had a plan the entire time?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked that he did it, because I'm thinking like, oh, he's like, I have to do something. And I'm like, yeah, but clearly going after her when she can just absorb your life energy and your powers probably isn't the best decision. And they know that XK helps prevent that from happening. So they didn't try to design anything for Tal or anybody else other than their armor with John and Natalie to try and take that on. So he literally was flying up there just to be absorbed. I mean, that's really all that was going to happen. So it didn't really surprise me at all. And then Jordan has to fly up to save him, which is kind of cool seeing Jordan, feel so comfortable with his powers. But at the same time, coffin fart combo. At the same time, Jordan could have also been captured and killed by Ally. So it's like, what a bad decision just for Tal to do this. Because you think about it and it's like, I get that something has to be done, but that wasn't a plan.
No,
that was not a plan at all. And yeah. So Crazy Cat Lady, I appreciate your super chat, but unfortunately I'm not going to pull that up on screen because that will literally get the stream shut down.
Yikes.
Well,
it wouldn't. Play Temptation, Eric. Play Temptation.
I'm not going to do that. No, I'm sorry. I do appreciate the $5 super chat. I know for a fact those words, if they get scanned on screen, your video will get blocked. So I would love to talk about it in detail, but it would 100% get my video.
The quartering disagrees.
Yes, and the quartering gets $1,000 tips in his super chats and stuff like that.
Well, so if you want to mention those keywords, there's your suggestion from Eric going forward.
I don't even know how to address that situation. Honestly,
is that what he actually? I didn't know about it. I didn't know
about it as well. I didn't know, but I feel like that's a heavy. That is a heavy conversation to inject in the middle of this. Honestly, of course, I don't support any kind of language like that or anyone, even engaging in that kind of stuff.
Isn't Ezra Jewish?
I don't know.
Maybe his dad is.
I don't know. I would just feel very uncomfortable having that conversation during this. I think a lot of people would probably not want to do that. To be completely honest.
Question: Fresh Sounds Florida. How do you know that?
I don't know. What did he say?
That's more concerning than anything. How do you know that?
Wait, what did he? I didn't see what he said. Oh, about the quartering. Yeah. Yeah, I always know that they have to fundraise to have those kinds of chats because their stuff gets demonetized all the time and they get shut down all the time. All right, hold on. Let me find this. I'm completely sidetracked now because of that.
Yeah, I was like, obviously it was Superman alone.
Yeah, let me get my notes back here. I'm not diminishing that. Thank you so much for the tip. I just don't think that's going into that right now would be.
That's for Eric's new series, DC Drama Alert, which is starting on Wednesday.
Yeah, hold on.
Growing the beard.
I completely lost my notes now. Talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves here.
I don't need to fall at your feet.
So I can't find the notes for this. No, I had notes for something else. I can't find them now.
Oh, typical unorganized Eric.
No, I was organized, but I closed the window when I went to click over to that. All right. So
free balling. And I'm free.
Where's balling? No, I'm not. I actually could move. We could keep going with that. So
what was the last thing you said?
We're talking about Jordan saving saving Tauro. I had something else I was going to pull up, but now I can't find it. All right. So Jordan has to go save Tauro, and then he comes back to Earth, and then we have to talk about Superman and how he gets his group back. So they have this plan with him being powerless that he wants to go into the sun to get supercharged. And he needs Tauro, obviously, to take him up and do that. And people are like, you don't have to do this, Clark. You don't have to do it. But the option is he either tries this plan, which may actually work, or everyone dies.
Except for Clark.
This is such a TV trope, and they use it all the time. And it happens on The Flash. It happens on all of the shows. The Flash is the one that it happens the most often because Barry gets crapped on all the time for making selfless decisions to try and save everyone. Always gets roped into that. So we see Tal take Superman into space. Now, here's the first thing that I thought about with taking him into space. How did he survive in space with no powers close to the sun?
I asked the same question. How are you breathing? How are you having a full-blown conversation? How are you it's not like he's drifting away. He's flying, like he's hovering.
Right.
I didn't get it.
I'd like to put it down to self-determination and just wanting to get the job done. And you know what? I can side with that. Clark's got a good work ethic, so
I thought it was a little weird that I was like, wait a minute, what?
He has a good work ethic, but it took him a whole entire day when he knew he could have done this the entire time. You could have done this in the last episode,
Look,
except you watched your son get beat up.
It's about managing your workday. You don't get it all done at 10 a.m. You got to work until 4 p.m. So you got to stretch out that day. You got to go to the water tank a couple of times.
I actually thought
couple cups of coffee.
Let me play devil's advocate and chill for a moment.
Uh-oh.
I thought maybe it's because...
Was that a new version of Netflix and chill?
I thought for a second, I was like, well, maybe it's because as he was getting closer to the sun, he was getting his powers back. I thought maybe that was possible. But even that seems a little too convenient, right? I mean, I felt like it was.
Well, first
if that was the point, he wouldn't need to be thrown into the sun. Like, if he was getting it, he's floating. Like, Tao was not holding him.
Yeah. There's one issue I've had with Superman and Lois, and it's the lack of music that's used on the show. They just go with all these scores. And Kita Miura said, "I'm walking on sunshine." Why don't we have that song play?
Actually, if that were playing, I probably would have no issues with the theme.
That just happened when he emerged. They just owns Ally. Amazing. 10 out of 10. You'd flick away the General Sam Lane terrible writing conversation scene because you got that. Awesome
so if that song was playing during the sun part, what would be?
Well, Here Comes the Sun. Actually, the Beatles music is expensive.
No, Walking on the Sun by Smash Mouth. That would have been.
Oh, did not be.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Can we get a redubbed version of that? Somebody put up a video like that.
Yeah, we could absolutely. So what song should have been playing when Sam was telling the kids about?
Ooh,
crickets.
No, what's like something bad?
Yeah.
Like Right Said Fred, I'm too sexy. Something like that. Like something where it just does not fit the scene at all because it's just out of place in the episode.
I'm tired of people trying to take up for the fact that Sam Lane said, "I've looked into other worlds." How?
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. We'll get to that.
I took some LSD. I saw some stuff.
Crazy Cat Lady with a $5 super chat. Sorry for bringing it up. I understand why you don't want to talk about it. I wouldn't want to get you in trouble. Well, it wouldn't be like getting me in trouble. And it's not that I don't want to talk about it. I just don't think it fits with what we're.
It's okay, now. Crazy Cat Lady. I don't think you can do worse than the Unabomber. So it's
yeah. So
that literally closed Eric's channel temporarily. So
yeah, I couldn't get to my channel for like 2 days, but there we go.
And I was very scared for 2 days.
So then we had Natalie trying to rescue John Henry, who went into the void to try and take on Ally as well. And so here's where I got a little bit confused. Is Ally in normal space or is she still in the void? Because it seemed like when Tal and Jordan were going to face against her, she was just above the earth. But then she also was in the void where John Henry and Natalie were.
Is it because they were being pulled together, so it was forming together? I don't know.
I'm a little bit. I don't know if that was ever explained or not.
I thought it was. No, because in that episode, could they still see Ally? In the finale? In the void?
I don't know.
In the last episode, you could, but by the end of last episode, you start to see that the worlds are actually right next to each other, almost like as if it was like a moon or something of Earth, and Ally was in like actual space. So I think the issue they had is probably in last episode not making it clear that Ally had sort of gone beyond the void.
And a lot of that I think has to do with how this episode's first like 20 minutes was so packed full of stuff that they had a lot of space at the end where I don't even know what you would call it. It was like just a epilogue to the episode. I don't know what you would call it. It just felt weird. They rushed through the Ally stuff to get to nothing, basically. So it was kind of strange. They could have spent a little more time on that. But then we have Natalie rescuing her dad, who had a plan to close up the gates in between the void, and they have to get saved by Superman at the end. So, which was kind of anticlimactic because we saw the promo photos that came out like 3 days before the episode, and we saw John Henry back on Earth. And I'm like, so I guess, any threat of something happening to him was pretty much gone. So we also have everybody hopping around. We have the stuff with Lois, Kyle, Sam, and we get to see Bizarro Earth and how the people there seem to think of Ally as a savior. They're all kind of like looking up at the sky, waiting for her to do this. So here lies the question, and everybody's issue with Ally, and I would like for the chat to sort of chime in on this. I think Paige and I talked about this off camera. I think we were in a chat and we talked about it, but Ally was one of those characters who wasn't developed the best in terms of like a villain. And I'm curious, Lance, if you felt this way as well. I don't know if she was necessarily a bad, like a villain, because from her perspective, she didn't lie about anything. She like, when you have a cult leader, the premise is you're following somebody who is out of touch with reality, right? You have someone that is leading you down a path that is wrong. But if you look at the way things were, Ally wasn't lying about what she was doing. Now, yes, she might have been power hungry. That might have been her downfall. And the way she went about doing things obviously was wrong. But her initial reason for wanting to do everything was not nefarious, as far as I can tell. They tried to make it that way, but it didn't seem like it was.
Nefarious.
I know you always correct me on that.
You know who else was like that, though?
Who?
Tall.
Yes.
It just seems like Todd Helbing has a formulaic approach to how he's writing these villains. And it's not because good.
Outside of the stuff that she did to our characters, and let's be clear here, from her perspective, they were the villains.
Yeah, she was just more annoying than a big bad.
And they showed her being unhinged in moments with everybody trying to get things done, trying to accomplish her goal, but she wasn't lying about anything. That's the wild part. And I don't know if that's intended. Like, I don't know if Todd wanted us to be able to understand why she was doing it, because a lot of times the best villains are the ones where you kind of understand why they're doing what they're doing. But in this sense, there wasn't a lot of untruths that she was spewing out there. Like, you can hit her for, like, you know, killing people and doing all the things that obviously she shouldn't have been doing, and those things make her a villain, but the core of why she did it was not evil, in my opinion. So I don't know. Do you think Ally was a good villain for the season? Do you think she was well done? Because I know a lot of people have complained about her.
No, I was not. Like, initially, you know, when I found out that they were doing Ally, I automatically jumped on the, it's a version of Parasite train, because, well, it was. They name dropped that several times, but I thought it was going to be executed better. Like I said, she came off as just annoying to me, and, well, Cicada came off as annoying to me, so I'm throwing her in that bin with both.
You're going to correct him, Paigey? Cicada?
I was going to wait until you finished to correct him.
I'm sorry,
Cicada.
Cicada.
Yeah, Cicada, please.
So, Paigey, do you think that Ally's power levels were too big for the, like, in order for Superman to face her, we had to have this sun situation, and I feel like that opens the doors for a lot of problems moving forward, and it made Ally seem too powerful for even Superman in a general sense, right?
Yeah, like, I think Ally wasn't necessarily a bad villain. It was just like sort of very mediocre, where I think they took too long to get to the point for such a mute outcome, if that makes sense. Like, it just felt like we've been building up for this, like, I don't know, what, I guess 10 episodes. I guess once, like, Bizarro was revealed, and you're like, well, Bizarro's probably not all there, and then Ally starts to play into things and everything, like okay, well, that's where they're going. At least like 7 or 8 episodes. You know, Ally's a threat, and like that's half of the season,
right?
And like Superman and Lois, like 5 episodes can feel like 10 episodes, and that's not a bad thing, but like, you know, that's how sometimes it can feel. So I think for the amount of time spent on it, I think the outcome wasn't that amazing. But I think, and I'm fingers crossed, going into season 3, the show 100% needs to expand outside of Smallville. It needs to.
Right.
I know that the whole point is that but like, I mean, it seems like Superman's getting more threats now than he was in the past 10 years since moving to Smallville. So maybe it was a bad
to get away from everything.
Yeah.
Right?
So like, I'm hoping, and maybe that's why, maybe look with this disconnection, which I'm sure we're going to get to in a second, but that allows them to expand beyond that and then do something different with the villains, where it isn't this whole, you versus me mentality with like the cult members, versus I guess Lois and Clark and everything like that, and another leader, because that's sort of similar to what it was last season. It wasn't the exact same, but there were some similarities that you wish they hadn't done and gone beyond that. You'd expect that from a show with Superman and Lois in regards to how we view it, in regards to the writing standpoint of it.
Yeah. So Mike Glennie with the 4.99 super chat and a Team Eric member. Thank you so much. Between the brain swapping and Earth's merging, they kind of lost me. It was a missed opportunity not having evil Superman being the season big bad. So we talked about the reason why they probably didn't do that, because that means Tyler would be pulling double duty and they were not going to ever.
I think that'd be even more like last season. True.
The other thing is, I also think a lot of people felt a bigger connection to Bizarro and to Jonathan L, because those are and Lana, Bizarro Lana, because those characters are characters we already know, and it's cool seeing them sort of flipped on their head. Whereas Ally was a character that we just didn't have any real connection to. I actually think that it should have been one or the other, because I feel like having both of them in the story kind of set Ally up for failure, because everybody loved Bizarro.
I disagree with that.
Okay.
I think having Bizarro there as like a bit of a bait and switch, I actually like that. I think the bigger bait and switch that was annoying was the Doomsday thing, because they said, "Oh, we're doing something big," and then really
they had a lot of bait and switches this season. They had a lot of.
But I got over that Doomsday thing pretty quickly. I think a lot of people did, because I didn't really see anyone really coming back to it that often. I think a missed opportunity thing with the Ally stuff was, we know that her father handed down the pendant. So what was he? Did he try and do it before? Was there an example where Superman had tried to deal with that previously?
Because Infotech says we needed an episode dedicated to Ally, and I would actually agree with that. I think we.
You can explore the whole father connection.
We needed a second Bizarro Earth. We talked about this. Yeah. We needed a second Bizarro Earth episode.
Well, it should have been. Yeah, it should have been a two-parter. Except they rushed through it. Really, not rushed through it, but I'd say rushed, because they crammed a lot into that one episode, while still trying to connect it to what was happening on Earth Prime and, well, not Earth Prime, other Earth. Question mark of a number, but yeah, they need a second episode, which is weird, because I think at the end of the day, I don't think any of the Cushing family drama was worth the amount of screen time it had. If Kyle had died, I would say partly yes. If Kyle had actually been lost due to what was happening here, then fair enough. But it just got this whole reuniting thing, which I don't think at the end of the day was worth it, because he was gone for like 15 minutes.
Yes, true.
He was hardly gone. And they reunited as if he's been like, a hostage by ISIS or something like that. That's pretty much what they acted like. So that's where it didn't really work in a couple of elements. And I think if you really went and rewatched it, I think the thing would go, okay, well, what could you have taken screen time away from based off the outcome come the end of the season? And where could you have split that screen time too, and you would take a lot of it away from the Cushing stuff. I think it helped Lana. I think it was good for Lana.
Yes.
But I still don't think it was worth it.
I think it was good for Lana. I don't think it helped Sarah, Kyle, or her little sister. I think they were all sort of passengers on that storyline.
Yeah, because it really doesn't affect Sarah too much at all, because her stuff was with Jordan, and that was based in Jordan's story. Right. So it didn't really hurt. In regards to that, she's just sort of like Jonathan, I guess. Just
the other thing is that, yes, it did help Lana from a storyline perspective, but they could have achieved everything they achieved with Lana without any of the drama with Kyle happening. It could have been, whether he was at home with her or not, they could have given her more agency without spending so much time on the split up of the family. Like, I feel like they could have achieved the same thing without all of that. Yeah, honestly. The other thing is, I noticed in the finale episode, and I don't know if it's just the stuff that she's given or not, but what is her name? Sophia? What is Sarah's little sister's name?
Sophie.
The actress is not good at conveying emotion, I don't think, because when she was in the car and they had kind of crashed or whatever, she's like, "Oh, Sarah, I'm scared." And I'm like, it just didn't feel real. And I'm wondering if that's the reason why she isn't on screen as much.
Well, hold on. petition for Eric to be recast as Sophie based off that audition because that was 10 out of 10. I'm loving it.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it felt very static, and I think either it's because she doesn't normally get a lot of lines in the show, and they just kind of expect her to be there, or she's just not very good with the stuff they're asking her to do. Because you know me, I'm not going to speculate too much about the abilities of a actor, especially one that we don't know that much about. So I don't really know the reason why, but I can tell you from a viewing perspective, it seemed like it wasn't very good. And I'm wondering if that has something to do with why they don't give her as much to do on the show. So I don't know. And Joey, you can't use that excuse because there are a lot of child actors and actresses that are really, really good. So this is, and again, I'm never advocating to go after actors or actresses, especially one that's as young as her.
Yeah, this is her only acting credit.
Yeah. So, yeah, Joey, but it wasn't believable. That's my point. It wasn't believable. It sounded fake. It sounded like someone acting. So
even the when she saw Ally on the TV, the scream was forced.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't very great. But I will say that I commend them on trying to include her in this because she'd been missing for so long on the show. I mean, she's barely on the show. Anyway, so let's move on to the next thing, which is the speech from Sam to the boys. Now, while all this drama is going on, we get this weird scene where Jordan and Jonathan are freaking out, and Sam comes back from, I believe this was after he came back from Bizarro Earth.
Yeah.
So he comes back and he has this speech with the boys that finally establishes that this Earth is not Earth Prime, and that all of these characters are from a different world. None of them are the ones we know. And his speech felt very weird because he talked about it as if he was present when a lot of these things were happening. Like he has seen, heroes, and he's seen, this, that, and the other, but your father is the strongest of them all, and he's the only one we got, which then insinuates that there are no other powered heroes on this Earth at all. Well, you could argue it means there's no other heroes, but the fact that Tal said that Clark was the best of them or the strongest of them, or however he put it, insinuates that there are other heroes, but they don't have powers, I guess. And this scene was the one where I think it caused the episode to sort of take a big, huge left turn for everybody because it felt very added in. It didn't feel like it flowed with the episode. And it also felt weird the way it was being delivered. And the fact that Sam, how would he have access to all of this when in the first season, he seemed shocked to find out that John Henry was from another Earth? I mean,
that's funny.
And funny. It goes even deeper. So I found an interview from January because either Todd Helbing is lying now or he was lying then, but in an interview, they asked him about Lucy, about Jenna, because they knew she was coming back on the show. And he explicitly stated that she was different because of Crisis in the interview. He said that she was changed because of Crisis. But this contradicts what he says after this episode aired when he said that they knew back in season 1 that they were going to take the show out of the Arrowverse or that it wasn't going to be connected. So either he was lying in the interview and purposely misdirecting people then, or he's lying now saying that they changed it in season 1. I believe he's lying about the season 1 statement. I think they had always intended for this to be in the Arrowverse and that she was in fact going to be a retcon Lucy from Crisis because that makes the most sense.
Yep.
With all the stuff with Diggle that was said in season 1 and all of those things. So they are doing damage control PR right now to try and make up for this because they know that it wasn't well received by fans. Lance, do you think that this was the point in the episode? Because for me, I know for a fact that after this happened, my interest on the episode just sort of, I could have been watching birds flying around outside. It really was like just completely gone. Because I was in shock that they dropped this on us in such a casual way.
Yeah. It was just like, as soon as that came on the screen, even like sitting there with my wife, even she was like, wait, what? Like he's the best of them all. He's the only one, huh? How does that even make sense? She's like, they're just gonna pull it out. I was like, I don't know. So after that point, yeah, like it was just I stopped paying attention.
Right.
Because they're just like, that's jarring, because why not just tell us this from the jump?
Yeah.
You wait till the end of the season to do that? No, you kill people's enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Except for the few weird people that hate the Arrowverse.
So the other thing that's kind of weird is, and this goes to the Earth Prime comics. Now I saw a lot of people saying, why is it called Earth Prime comic if Superman and Lois don't take place in Earth Prime? But I want to point out there's also a Stargirl comic, and that's not on Earth Prime either.
But they also confuse people by putting Earth Prime's Clark in the last issue.
Yes, but the other confusing part is the Earth Prime comic obviously takes place after season 1 because the boys know that Clark is Superman.
Yeah.
In that comic. That's already been established. Also, the comic insinuates that Lex Luthor exists because Nuclear Man is a villain and he was created by Lex Luthor.
Yep.
Well, no, in the show they say that Lex Luthor exists.
Right, but what I'm saying though is that now we have a Lex that is. Was it going to be John Cryer? Was that who they were going to use initially? I don't know.
Well, it would have been a bit of an issue if they showed him and he had a beard or something like that.
But the other thing they mention in the comic is they talk about the whole story is about Lois and Intergang, and now they're reintroducing Intergang and Bruno Mannheim. By the way, because it's Super Chat here from Dark Bat Productions, they are reintroducing the Bruno Mannheim story in regards to John Henry. So when they wrote that comic, did they know this wasn't going to be Earth Prime? Do they know that, or did they think at that point this wasn't Earth Prime?
I think that was the whole point of having that story in there, because Todd Helbing had a quote, and because I'm a very organized person, Eric, you know me, I do have a
you're organized, but you're stalling.
I have a nice. No, I'm not, mate. I'm not stalling. I'm not the fucking Flash. I can't click the speed of light. I have to get a screenshot.
Oh, okay. Is this it right here?
Well, of course it is, Eric.
Was this done on Google Slides?
No, it was done on Photoshop. Can't you tell by the red outline on the box?
I don't use Photoshop.
Anyway, guys, this is in regards to Intergang and Bruno Mannheim. What we always try to do is set up a villain so that he or she feels like they're going after one specific person on a show, but then it spreads and you see how it affects everybody. So yeah, there's going to be a history with everybody with this guy in reference to Bruno Mannheim. It's not just with John Henry Irons.
No, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, did they know when they wrote the comic that it was not Earth Prime? Is what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh no, I'm sure they would have, because I think they would have had every man and their dog from Earth Prime show up. Like,
right.
Oh,
so
the Flash
when do you think these comics were made? Since they were just released a couple months ago, like how long ago do you think they were made?
It's hard to tell because with issue 6, they straight up set up Flash season 9. So then you got to get to a date when they got the renewal, or do they write that story just in case they got renewed?
Yeah.
But then again, in issue 5, that story was set up with the breakout.
It's very weird, right?
It's hard to tell exactly the time and place of everything. But the guys that wrote the Superman and Lois issue are like 2 of the head writers. It's not just random writers in there. I think it was the 2 people below Todd Helbing.
So Skyhawk, he did lie. He admitted to lying.
Yeah, he did lie. I don't know.
He admitted. He said that I knew back in season 1 and we didn't tell anyone because I was told by DC not to. So he admitted that he has been lying about this the whole time. So this is not speculation. He came out and said it. Those were his words, not mine. All right. So anyway, if you want to know more about our thoughts on that, head over to the video from this week. We spend a long time talking about it. But yeah, it's pretty obvious to me that they either should have just been upfront about it, if that is the case, or waited until the end of the episode to have that conversation at the very end. So he said, I was talking about the Arrowverse thing. I think Sherman's called the CW multiverse the Arrowverse. I know some people think it should mean just the Arrowverse, but they mean the CW multiverse. No, I disagree with that. The Arrowverse is Earth Prime, or characters that have crossed over on Earth Prime. So we're not going to get into that debate. That's ridiculous. Not everything is the Arrowverse. Give me a break. Dark Bat Productions with a $5 super chat goes, I love the classic Fortress at the end and the Bruno Mannheim and Intergang tease. They could reference Apocalypse. So I don't know if they would ever get... Now, I don't remember what interview it was, but Todd did say that they are limited on who they can have based on what DC tells them. We kind of already know there's certain characters that are embargoed. I think someone like Darkseid or Apocalypse in general may be outside of their reach, right? I don't think they're gonna go in that direction.
It depends. Like they just pretty much ask. I'm pretty sure they just go, "Oh, can we use this character? Can we use this?" I don't think they necessarily have a list where they're told you can't use these characters. So they could tie into Gang's weaponry to Apocalypse, but just say it was someone else from Apocalypse. It wasn't Darkseid.
Right.
They could use Desaad if they wanted to.
Right. They could use other characters, but I think it would be really hard for them to tie in some of the bigger characters.
Well, that's the thing. They could use Desaad and then reference Darkseid if they want to. They could say, "Oh, he's," and maybe not name drop him, but say, "Oh, his leader," you know, or something like that. Yeah.
So before I read this, I just want to point out that I'm not saying you said that, Skyhawk, but I've seen a lot of debate about what the Arrowverse is. Everything, like the Arrowverse, is included in the DC multiverse. So we know that the movies, all the TV shows are part of their multiverse. So there's a potential for crossing over at any time. However, Superman and Lois, the show that we've been watching, none of those characters have ever crossed over with anyone from Earth Prime.
I just really weren't people calling Ally Granny Goodness?
Yes.
Yep. Maybe she was the Apocalyptan person who brought the weaponry into Gang.
So we have a $5 super chat from Naruto here. An interview Andy Reese and Eric Wallace said the story box is not. You know what? I thank you so much for the super chat, Naruto. But I have reached a point with Eric Wallace where I don't believe anything he says in interviews.
Yeah,
that's it. Done.
Okay. Well, hold on. Okay. What about this? You're sitting down. You have two interviews up on screen. You have to choose one to believe in. One is Eric Wallace. The other is Danielle Nicolette. Go.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, no. Is this like the choice to jump off a building?
This is like choosing to put either a sword or a knife through your head.
I mean,
like,
they're both wrong.
Like,
I can't. You know what? We're going to save this because I have some comments about that when we get to the Flash stuff,
edgy.
honestly. About the whole Danielle Nicolette thing. Staggerworth09 super chat.
People have comments.
When Sam said we only have your father on this earth, what he meant is if their Earth has Superman, they have other versions of other Earths can't compare. Wait, when Sam said we only have your father on this earth, what if he meant that only their Earth has? What happened?
I don't know. Staggerworth was saying that he thinks that like they said that this Earth is the only one that has Superman. Is that what he's saying?
I'm trying to understand here. When Sam said we only have your father on this earth, what if he meant that only their Earth has Superman and they have the versions on meaning that he is the strongest Superman, I think is what.
Yeah, like Earth Prime still has the Superman we saw in Crisis and Elseworlds and everything like that.
He's just off living his life with his new kids.
Isn't Brandon Routh's Kingdom Come Superman a much older version than Superman and Lois is? And thereby may be much stronger. So he couldn't
technically he would. Yeah, well,
wasn't he beating Superman from Earth Prime when they were fighting?
Well, Earth Prime Superman is, well, as the Snyder Shields call him, super cuck. So.
Well, on Earth Prime, it's confirmed that Supergirl is stronger than Superman. Apparently,
yes,
so
she has
it's because Supergirl had her own show. That's why.
Well, the other thing is, I believe in the comics they confirmed at one point that she was more powerful than Superman, but I don't remember what story that was.
I mean, in the future, Earth Prime Superman is retired and just started wearing flannel with his shirt open all the time anyway. So,
you would probably, to be honest, he's in the crops. You'd keep it closed. There's spiders and stuff in crops. Like, I don't know why he's got his shirt open.
We know Bart likes ripping it open though.
Yeah, there we go.
Nipples.
Naruto here with another $5 super chat. What season of Supergirl was Bruno Manhunt constantly name dropped by Lena? Oh, I don't remember.
I remember he was in Smallville. Bruno Manhunt.
I don't remember.
I can't remember being.
I'll be honest with you. Supergirl's last couple seasons all kind of blur together.
Oh no! Well, Intergang was in Supergirl, but wasn't it like a really proto Intergang?
Wasn't it the one? Was it the one where they had the prison where they were breaking out of the prison or something like that?
No, didn't they steal the weaponry from like Mon-El's?
Yes, people? And I don't think we ever actually saw Bruno on there. I don't think he was ever seen on screen. He was.
Or maybe he was meant to be one of the robbers. But like that's a weird thing for Bruno. I don't know. Maybe it was, or maybe it was something else. I'm not too sure.
Thomas says, when Eric Wallace also said in an interview that no one said it was the Green Lantern ring in the box. But I said that already. I pretty much had established that. Michael West here with the $5 super chat. One, that last fight with Reverse Flash was lackluster. Why doesn't Reverse Flash look like Savitar 3? We didn't see him run once in that new form. I thought we did when he was fighting Barry, or was Barry just kind of dragging him around? I don't remember. No, he did run.
They both ran. You see?
Yeah, they both ran. Yeah, they did run. We'll get to this in a minute, Michael, because we're just about done with Superman and Lois. But I actually think that the fight scene in the episode was probably the only really solid part of it, to be completely honest. Mike here with the 499 super chat. With stakes for season 1 and 2 being so high, where do they go from here? Just street level, global gang with alien tech? I hope not, because I don't feel like a rehash of Supergirl season 2 and 3. I mean, that's pretty much.
I don't know. I sort of like the idea of it. And Todd Helbing really hinted at it in interviews. He said he used the term, and I know Eric loves this term a lot, grounded.
Why do you want a grounded Superman?
I don't want it necessarily a grounded Superman, but I don't mind a grounded storyline because they've set it up pretty well with the journalism aspect. I like the idea of them. Look, to me personally, I like that like undercover sleuth, sort of like crime drama sort of thing going on. And if they can mix it decently well with the action side of Superman, you can get a really well-balanced season. Of course, I'm talking about this hypothetically because they haven't even started filming the freaking thing. So I don't even, let alone airing it. So I don't know what's going to play out in regards to that. But I like the idea of like corruption and them trying to dive into that and seeing the effects of that on like a physical plane, you know, with like Superman having to battle with them. The issue with Intergang is that Superman shouldn't be too overly affected by them, I don't think. However, we did see Intergang in season 1 and they sort of messed up Superman. So, but you hope there's improvement there.
So, Lance, what would you think about going on this comment if they did a story with Superman, the reporter, like having him as Clark trying to uncover? Would you be okay with that, or is that not what you signed up for when you started watching the show?
Wouldn't that be what everybody was afraid the show was gonna be anyway?
Kinda. No, everyone was afraid the show was gonna be like Modern Family or something like that. That's what they were afraid it was gonna be. Or Full House or something.
Do you think, though, going to a more grounded season of the show would drive away people who have been watching it? There were Arrowverse fans that have been loving it, and then they get this bombshell dropped on them, and then the show goes to grounded. I mean, it literally feels like that would be like the worst thing they could do. Honestly,
I mean, not no more than what they just did on Tuesday. I think they've driven away who they're going to drive away. If they do that, if they find a balance, then okay, cool. Because I have been saying I want to see Clark doing more than, you know, being creepy and eavesdropping on the kids at school and just working around the farm. Like, go make some money for your family, man.
Yeah. Stagger Forth 49 super chat. So what I was saying is Sam might have met their Earth has a Superman like no other, rather than being the only. I think he clearly met. He's the only hero the only superhero on their Earth.
And Staggervore is the simple fact that Todd Helbing came out in like 12 different interviews in 5 minutes and said Superman is the only superhero on that Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty. I think also that was to placate the people that kept asking why nobody else was helping with these large events, and that's kind of the thing. All right, let's move on here. We got sidetracked. All right, Superman manages to defeat Ally by splitting her up and taking away her powers after he goes into like his Superman 1 million, Superboy Prime mode, and
I had a problem with that.
I know a lot of people did, and he flies around the Earth and then he punches the partially merged Earths apart, which was a cool scene. I'm not going to say it wasn't. It was very cool. It was cool. But when they show the Earths, all the damage and everything that was done is back to normal. Like nothing is broken up. There's no major destruction. None of the people that were hurt during this, they're back up walking around. Do you think this was too easy of a fix for this problem? Because I felt, as cool as it was definitely like, we just want to snap our fingers and fix this. That's kind of what it felt like to me.
I thought the entire thing was too easy, starting from the Ally. I wouldn't even call it a fight. He just flew into her when in any other time he tried to fly into her, she would, instinctively stick her hands out to suck the life out of him. If she was that power hungry, which they made her seem, I think that would have been the best time to use your power set instead of trying to fight this man who is glowing in hand-to-hand combat.
Right.
And the punching the earth thing, it was cool to see. It gave me, like live action Dragon Ball Z vibes. Like, he was powering up.
But it
just
also
didn't make sense.
That was a nod to the old Superman movies where he flies around the earth and reverses time, which everybody hates. So yeah, for me it was like I definitely saw why they were doing it, but at the same time I'm like, this is probably not the best way to end all this. What is this? What?
I don't know how this is even possible. He's lost one earphone in Spain and the other one's in England.
Who is this person?
Apparently Elliot. It's his AirPods.
Okay. We have what happened to Bizarro, Lana, and Jonathan L? Because I don't think we ever followed up. No, I mean like during the battle, where were they? Like we don't.
Who?
Forgotten.
Are they back on their Earth now?
What Bizarro, John and Lana?
Yeah.
Well, locked up. I'm assuming.
No, but I know that. But where are they back on? Did they?
No, I think they'd be
that,
where Ally was at the end of the episode.
Because that also confused me. If punching the Earths split the realities back apart, why would anyone still stay on their Earth if they were from the other Earth? Why would they? So there were people that were bouncing around, right? We had people on his Earth that were from Bizarro Earth and vice versa. But when he punches the ground and splits it off, somehow people went back to their respective Earths, except for Ally, except for Bizarro, Lana, and Jonathan. Why would they not also go back?
See, technology is a great invention or a great inventive tool, young Eric.
Mm-hmm. That's the answer?
Yes. Whatever those cells are, they stop travel?
That seems overpowered considering we're talking about like cosmic level stuff, but okay.
Maybe you have to be above ground.
And I don't think the portals had anything to do with it once Superman punched them. I don't think that had anything to do with it.
I think the portals were gone by that point.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is I don't think that had anything to do with what with the punching of the Earth. Like I think
the punching.
I don't know. We also have Lois telling Chrissy everything. How did y'all feel about this? This is a good idea, bad idea? Do you think it's going to come back and bite them? I think it's
just like it's just to make their life a bit easier in regards to the writing side. I think that's it. I think it's literally just because, as I said, I feel like journalism is going to be a major theme of next year. So it's going to be Lois, Chrissy, and Clark either working together all the time or...
that's a good point. Maybe Clark will be working at the Gazette with them.
At the Gazette, and they might be out in other areas. So if he needs to literally just go Superman mode, he can do it and not have to, quickly run away. Oh, I've got the runs. I've got to run away and go to the toilet or something and whatever it might be.
We see Tauro on Bizarro Earth, which was also kind of weird. Did they explain how he was there or no?
Yeah, if the portal was closed.
So he's on there and somehow he's able to send trucks to the boys as gifts.
I think that was a homage to that Smallville pilot.
Yes, I think so. But I'll also say if they are paying this off in season 3, like if they're going to explain his story and how this all happened and give Tauro like his own storyline in season 3, I'm willing to overlook it because maybe that's what the story is going to be, like how he's there and what he's going to be doing. I would like to follow that story.
It is like a reference to Smallville, I guess. I was thinking Back to the Future.
They do it in Back to the Future too, yeah. Let's talk about the fact that like Bizarro Lois was basically there for no reason, other than to stand and watch things happening, which I thought was a little odd.
She was being really weird. It was like
I actually thought that they were going to do some sort of thing where she gets to see like she's feeling emotional from seeing her husband being the person that he always wanted to be, who he lived up to be, but it never went anywhere. Like it never mattered. So I was like, okay, that's strange. Also, we have the new Fortress of Solitude, which is going to be like a family thing, and they mentioned Jonathan is going to be able to like explore Kryptonian tech. Maybe.
I wonder random boats see that fortress in the middle of the ocean and just be like, where'd that come from?
That's a good point. I never thought about that.
So like, it was cool to see, like Paige said in his video today, it's comic accurate. It's just.
Did you like when I used the term erected?
Yes, I did. But it's just
nice
it's oddly placed. Like it's like.
Well, it's in the Arctic, so I'm wondering, is like this on like a no boat zone? But then how'd they get clearance?
Yeah, I don't know.
They're going to cause Titanic 2.0.
Oh no. The last thing we have in the episode is Diggle showing up wearing the exact same outfit, jacket, hairdo, beard that he wore on Flash.
Chewing the same piece of gum. Yeah.
Telling John Henry that they're going to be working towards Bruno Mannheim and Intergang because apparently he's the one that killed the John Henry on whatever number Earth.
Did they say specifically that he killed him, or they? Because I couldn't remember.
I think they just alluded that he was connected to the death of John Henry. Yeah. So I guess that's going to be his story in next season, which, by the way, that sounds quite interesting to me because it is going to give him kind of his own story to deal with instead of, just a family dynamic.
It sounds like you're going to have multiple characters actually associated with the same storyline, but from different angles.
Right.
Which that's what excites me about it. But once again, it depends on the execution and the level of what not only Bruno Mannheim is within society, whether he's a recognized figure or just an overly powerful figure, as well as what Intergang is in regards to a physical threat.
So,
and it's also funny because Morgan Edge was a part of Intergang.
Yes.
Whoa, connection. Maybe Tauro knew Bruno.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the end of the episode. I don't think it was a bad finale. There was a lot of, again, questionable stuff that happened, but I think overall it wrapped up almost I don't think there was any story. Okay, there was the fact that
there's one.
Which one were you thinking of?
It wasn't something that was even addressed in the finale. It's actually from 5 episodes ago.
Okay, which one is it?
It was brought up again, the actual thing, but it was never actually fully finished, and I think that's because it leads into season 3.
Okay, what is that?
It's yellow and glows in the mines.
Oh, the XK,
and that little thing in Smallville was just a distribution center. So where's the main hub?
Right. The other thing I think of is John Henry's sister that was brought up and then never followed.
I don't know why people keep bringing that up. It was literally one scene. And it was, I think, him just trying to see the connection between this Earth and his other Earth and what was similar and what wasn't.
I just think the fact that he said it without following up on it kind of bugs people.
Yeah, I mean, but it wasn't even from this season. It was from last season. When I saw people bringing it up, I was like, why are people bringing this up? It's from last season.
Maybe she's on Earth Prime. Maybe she's not on this Earth. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he was on the wrong Earth in that van.
So I'm curious in the chat. We're going to do our super chats before we get to the Flash. But in the chat, what would you score this episode 1 to 10? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Lance, any final thoughts on this episode? Or
like I said, I enjoyed it for what it was, just like any other episode of DC TV. It had its issues, but I'm looking forward to season 3 nonetheless.
Okay. All right, so let me see what the chat is saying here, numbers wise. Oh, I'm seeing some low scores, 2s, 4s.
I think that's trolls.
1.5.
I think my view on the finale is that whatever you thought this season as a whole was in regards to a rating, that's what you thought the finale was. That's what you thought the finale was. Because I think the finale, and I think the Flash is the same, very similar. Like whatever you think the finale is as a rating is probably what you think the entire season is.
Right.
Because they fit their seasons pretty well in regards to the negatives and the pros.
I'm seeing some 9s and some 8s up here. So
I think 8's a fair score.
Yeah. Daddy hates the metal with a $2 super chat. Eric Wallace said there'll be so much romance in season 9.
He said they're going into season 6, 7,
He's
8,
playing
and
to
9.
the shipping community. Don't ever pay any attention to that. Justin here with the 4.9 super chat. What are some of the concept storylines you want to see incorporated for the Flash season 9? I think we can talk about that after we're done with talking about the episode. But I will say there are a few things that I hope to see in season 9 that we kind of have been on the right path with in season 8. And I'm going to do a whole video about that separately this week, but we will touch on it at the end of this of the stream here. We get done with the Flash. Let's see. Where's the next one here? Cal says this could be our goal. No, it's not. They confirmed that it's not. Todd Helbing's already confirmed. That? Todd Helbing specifically came out and said this is a different Diggle in an interview. This would have been cool, and this would have made more sense, honestly. Yep. But the fact that it's a different Diggle who looks exactly the same in both seasons that he appeared in as his doppelganger on Earth Prime seems to be better for them. Oh, here we go. He's got this one here.
How organized am I today? This is crazy. He's a doppelganger. He worked with Oliver Queen. He worked with other heroes that is now unnamed conveniently. But yeah, he's just a doppelganger of John Diggle that everybody saw in the Arrowverse.
So it's sad that the reality is they just decided to be lazy with it. And yeah. Daddy Eats the Metal. Imagine if the MCU said Iron Man was never part of the MCU after Endgame and no one mentioned it again. Also love your videos. Well, thank you so much. I don't know. It's
more like if they did like, I don't know, what's a successful movie that came out?
What do you mean?
Like Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay.
If like you know what it is? It's if Spider-Man got actually removed from the MCU because of Sony.
Yeah, and they did another movie, and they make it seem like he's always been disconnected from the.
Yeah, they say, "Oh, yeah, no, that Avengers Thanos, he was just a dream." Like,
and they'll say, "Oh, the Spider-Man that's in the MCU, that one is just like ours, and he's had all the same stories,
except he's weaker than our one. Our one's much stronger."
Yeah, that's what that would be like, pretty much. Citizen Tim Scott here with a $5 super chat and a Team Eric member. For the Flash, can we get a little less conversation, a little more action? Please, Viva
Tim, you're speaking my language.
This is Pagey loves Elvis, so he loves the
Mate,
whole.
I was going to do a Pagey's pick, my Elvis review, because I went and saw it on Wednesday. Favorite movie of the year.
Oh, I was gonna say, good. Give us your quick thoughts on Elvis before we get into the Flash.
Did you cosplay as Elvis first?
I'll tell you what, I was trying to do my hair like Elvis. I'm not gonna lie. after the shower, I was sort of like trying to slick it back, but you can't impersonate Elvis. But Top Gun was my number one movie of the year,
and now Elvis is number one.
But this took it easily. Like it's my favorite thing. The thing with Elvis is that every girl wanted him. They wanted to get in the old jumpsuit with Elvis, and every guy wanted to be him. So there's nothing like that today. No one like that today. Also, who thought Chase the Assassin DJ from Arrow Season 3 would be a stellar Elvis?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Apparently,
wait! Oh my gosh! Queen. Does this mean that Elvis is part of the Arrowverse then? Since they're
well, technically, you could argue it's a doppelganger.
That's true. In the multiverse, everything's part of the multiverse. Toe Senior with the $5 super chat. Team Eric member says, "Do you think Tal-Row? Okay, can somebody come back to Earth?
Is this a what's it? Why is it Earth 64? I don't know. It's like I know the Arrowverse wiki because I was like, do they have like an Earth number? And I had a look and it says TUD 25, but I think they write TUD for like unidentified Earth.
Did you didn't watch my video today, did
unidentified Earth?
It's Earth Todd.
No, it's Earth Bing. So you get Chandler Bing potentially there as well in a cameo as well.
I like your enthusiasm, Toe, because giving it a designation already. So you mean coming back from the Bizarro Earth back to the Earth that they're on, and I think that's what they're going to explore next season because we don't really understand how he's there. So there we go. 1-9 super chat for Staggervore. Who would you like to see? I honestly don't care about who's cast as Bruno Mannheim. I don't have much of an opinion about that. Do you guys have any fan castings for Bruno?
Stephen Amell. Confuse everybody.
Unironically, Steven Seagal.
No, get the guy from Naomi that played Bruno, the one that played Darkseid. What is his name? He played Darkseid in the Snyder Cut.
Oh, he corrected it here, Tauro, but then he switched it to Earth 94. So
isn't that Kingdom Come?
Is it? Is that the one?
I'm pretty sure isn't that the Kingdom Come Earth?
I don't know. I don't know. We already answered your question, so thank you again for the super chat. Let's see where we're at here in super chats. Are we good? We're good. All right. So,
by the way,
yeah.
you would like it. Speaking of Viva Las Vegas, they mixed Viva Las Vegas with Toxic by Britney Spears in the movie.
Oh no.
There's your reason to go.
All right. There we go. All right. So we're going to be talking about The Flash. This was the season finale for season 8, episode 20, negative part 2. And my notes here, I put, this was an interesting season finale that felt a little thrown together overall. First thing I want to talk about is the annoying flashbacks to literal stuff that just happened. I went back and added it all up. The flashbacks.
Was there an episode like this season when they did that as well? Like, I think it was during the Death Storm thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably. But it was the Death Storm episode. But I added it up, and there's almost 3 minutes of flashbacks in the episode if you add them all up. 3 minutes of time in the episode.
But
dedicated to 15 and 20-second flashbacks.
But comparing that to time wasted on a Cecile storyline for this entire back half, I don't know, it seems pretty minute.
I don't know. I think we need to do away with, like, the flashbacks are fine, but we need to reduce how many we're using. There's actually a video I saw as a joke. I don't remember who shared it with me, but was it you, Lance, or I don't remember who shared it, but someone shared a video where it's like every second there was a flashback to the second before. Did you see that on Twitter? It's hilarious. I have to find it then and share it. It's so funny. Somebody was like, what if the flashbacks were of every second? But like, as soon as somebody did something, you get that flashback noise and they would flash back to them doing it, like literally every 2 or 3 seconds. And that's what it felt like in the episode. I was like, they have to do away with these. They're just not good. We also have, and this is where we're going to get into the Danielle Nicolette stuff, the shocking cameo that we've been waiting for was Damien Dark.
And I saw people. Here's the big issue. I saw people going, oh, it was you guys. It was the YouTubers and the streamers that hyped it up too much. It's your fault. And I'm sitting there going like, no.
Because I'm just trying to process like the whole thing. Like, honestly,
I defined the quote. So give me 2 seconds.
Yes,
I got it right now.
All right, go ahead.
I'm trying to click as fast as I can. God, that is small. Hold on.
Oh wow, yeah. All right, there we go.
Okay, so is this us overhyping it, or is this Danielle Nicolette
made a point made a point,
not just mentioned it, but decided
anybody
to go,
you're thinking it might be? So she was right there. Anybody you're thinking it might be? Nope. It's not who you think it all is. Everyone's going to be screaming. They'll be so excited to see this person.
Screaming in what? Excitement or terror? Because we just realized this is the cameo.
That he was in the beginning of the season. He'd already been on the show this season.
And the thing is, I didn't even need to see him. As soon as Iris appeared in that room, I was like, oh, she's where Damien is.
Right.
Because we saw him there in Armageddon talking to Nora.
I just don't understand. Like, that was a pointless hype for the finale.
Yep.
That was completely pointless. It didn't need to be said at all.
She said it 6 weeks ago. What was the point? So it wasn't saying like in the day leading up to it. It was in 6 weeks leading up to it.
How many times did we go live where people were asking who we thought that was going to be? Because it was such a big quote. Like,
and here's another one. Here's another one. And we can blame Danielle Nicolette where definitely she deserves to blame. Well, it's not even trolling. It's just being silly at this point. But also there's this. I think the journalists that got to watch the episode early have to be responsibility as well. Let's look at that.
So someone's saying, where's the hype outside of YouTube? We're showing it to you right here.
This is to preface. This is someone who saw the episode and someone asked a question. Any hints at the surprise guest? Feel free to read it, Eric.
I'm in a giving mood, so I'm going to say that Danielle Nicolette was accurate-ish with her casting team.
Casting tease as well, insinuating it's someone new.
Right.
That isn't really on The Flash.
He's been
before
Damien Dark since Arrow season 4.
And he was in Armageddon.
Yeah. I myself certainly tempered expectations, which I told people to do that before this episode even happened. After some speculated, it seemed to be simply be long absent baby Jenna, and especially after Mia Smoke got ruled out. But I legit exclaimed, "Oh damn!" when I saw the character pop up in this coming Wednesday's finale. What's more, the seed with this was very pointedly planned some time ago, and it sets up a great performance by their scene partner.
But and let's go scene partner, insinuating one scene, which is a cameo. Damien Dark's role wasn't a cameo; it was a guest appearance. He's in 3 or 4 scenes.
He's in the first quarter of the episode.
He was in more. He had more speaking than Mina, Bart, and Nora. Really,
and Allegra. And
Chester.
Maybe
and Chester.
Danny just has a
and Joe.
Unnatural fixation with Neil McDonough. I don't know. When I seen him pop up, I was like, wait, that's it? that's the
well. The reality is, I think I messaged Paige and I was like, is this the cameo?
And I went back and was like, surely not, because I said it was a scene. I think I said that to you. It was like, oh no, apparently it's one scene because that reporter said it.
Yeah.
And Damien Dark was obviously not, because it just ended. So it was obviously going to be more scenes. It's going to be a bit of a subplot.
Now I want to say this. It's okay to tease. Like, obviously you can tease stuff for episodes. Actors and showrunners and people can do that. But I think you have to understand that the fandom doesn't look at these things as lightly as they do. And I've said this before, like, her idea of a big surprise person is Damien Dark. That was literally nobody's, like, no one. If Damien Dark just showed up on an episode randomly throughout the season, I don't think I'd be like, oh, wow, that's amazing to have Damien Dark back. I mean, yeah, it's cool to have him on there, but it's not a character we're not aware of. And if he hadn't already been in the season, maybe I would have been a little more surprised about it, but he already showed up. And we knew that storyline had to come to an end at some point.
Diggle 2 episodes previous was 10 times more of a surprise than Damien Dark.
Yeah. Even the Ray Palmer one, little video was more surprising.
That's true.
Yeah.
Manuel here with the $5 super chat. Superman and Lois viewership discussion. 95% don't care if it connects to the Arrowverse and does great on streaming. The viewership is a little overblown.
But no one knows that. No one knows that until season 3 starts.
Right. We won't see the fallout from this until we get into season 3. And I think
I agree with you. I agree that people are overblowing in regards to they're going to lose 50%.
Yeah, I don't think they're going
to say that like there won't be a good amount of people that might stop watching well, you don't know. You don't know until next season starts.
I'm going to take this in a completely different perspective because I don't care whether people stop watching or not. It's irrelevant to me. What bothers me is that they waited so long to tell the fans about it because I think that was wrong. And it also bothers me that now they're trying to do damage control and make everybody think that they've lost their minds because they believe the show was connected when they did everything to make us think that.
Yep.
The only reason people thought it was disconnected is that they had not mentioned Supergirl. That's the only reason. Everything else in the show made us believe that they were still on Earth Prime. So I don't care if they lose viewers or not. That's irrelevant to me, honestly. But thank you for the super chat. Here we go. Next one is from Staggervore. The problem is the way Danielle interpreted it and misled everyone.
It wasn't interpreting it. It was just straight up saying it.
I mean, we saw her quote. She was like hyping it. Like,
yeah, it wasn't a misinterpretation.
People are going to scream when they see who this is. That's pretty heavy in terms of the way they're promoting it.
Like the thing is, when it ended, the episode ended and there was nothing. My first thought was it deleted? Because they've deleted stuff before. They deleted the cicada tease at the end of season 4 and they put it in the season 5 trailer. So they deleted stuff before, or like not put it in an episode and saved it for later. So I was like, did that happen? And then it just came out. I was like, no, Damien Dark was legitimately the person.
Canada Graphs here with the $5 super chat. On the plus side, Daniel probably made you a lot of money for people asking super chats about it. It wasn't just that. It was the fact that people were just asking in general. It wasn't just the super chats. But yeah, I had a couple super chats about it. But I think just in general, a lot of people were asking for our predictions on who it was going to be. Like, what's the point of speculating?
You know what it's like?
So
it's like you've had a tough day at school. You know, maybe you're playing soccer at lunch and you got beat 8-0. It sucked. And then someone threw a basketball at your head. It's not going good. And then your mum goes, you know what? It's Friday. It's McDonald's night. Get ready for a Happy Meal. It's going to be, the new Power Rangers movie is out. They've got good toys.
Okay.
You're pumped. You get home and the meatloaf comes out and it's dry. You got to drink milk.
That's the worst.
The mashed potatoes are all, they're not smooth. They got clumps.
Oof.
and the gravy is too thin, like it's too much water.
Oh,
in the
so it
gravy.
just gets worse.
That's pretty much what Daniel.
That sounds
Nicolette
really
did.
gross.
So
to
you
me,
were
actually.
promised a McDonald's Happy Meal after a tough day at school, but you instead got dry meatloaf with clumpy mashed potatoes, thin ass watery gravy, and God knows what else.
So before
That's
we get
pretty
to the
much what we
super
got.
chat and Paige's analogy, that just made me want to vomit.
Don't worry. I think we've all been disappointed by being promised something, especially
yes,
McDonald's, and you get something else.
So
I think we've all been through that.
Lance, what was your reaction to seeing Damien Dark as the cameo in the episode?
It kind of like took me out. So
Lance had flashbacks to the dry meatloaf. That's what it was.
I said, wait, because I honestly, like, I immediately hopped on Twitter and I'm like, wait, is that the special guest? Because I had my mind set, and it's my own fault for listening to her. You know, I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt, but I had my mindset. I was like, it might be Clark. But then again, after the night before, I was just being optimistic. Maybe, Eric Wallace was going to give a big,
yeah. And that's the thing. Impulsive Studio says Damien or Name McDonald was in the opening credits. I saw him there. So I was like, oh, okay.
I didn't think about it like that.
I saw him in the opening credits and I was like, well, a cameo usually isn't in the credits. They usually leave that out.
As a team,
so he was there, and I was like, "Oh, okay, Damien's in this episode." But in the back of my head, I also thought, "Oh."
So Thomas here with the $5 super chat goes, "Do you think Eric wrote this as a series?" So yes, he confirmed that he did. They went into this with the thought of it being a series finale.
Yeah, but I think that's a bit loose though,
right?
Because I think a lot of people think like as if they were filming it as a series finale, then on the go changed it.
Yeah, I don't think that's
before,
the case.
Ages before they would have known they got rid of it.
I would say the last almost pretty much the back half of this episode was changed because they knew they.
Well, I think the entire episode was changed. I think the issue, or like from what they could, I think the thing is that they set up stuff in the previous episodes for it to be a series finale. That's where the issues arise.
We just read that wrong. Do you think as Eric wrote this as a series finale, he originally planned?
Yeah, I was going to get to the second half of that there. So yeah.
No, I don't think he did.
Yeah. Because I don't think that I think like Paige was saying that it may have started out with that, but then because he said in the interview again, Eric Wallace. Why am I even quoting Eric Wallace here at all?
You love him, Eric. He's your favorite showrunner.
He was saying that there would be a point in the episode where we would see where it went from series to season finale.
I think we saw that.
Yeah, and I have my statements about that later. But as far as like Oliver Spector cameo, I don't think based on the story there was any way for Oliver to show up except to save Iris. And it's pretty clear they went the direction of the Time Stone and
the comic typed y'all up for the Oliver stuff. I never thought I'd see him. All right,
you never said that. You did say Tyler though,
because and that brings it up. I was talking to Andy yesterday, and he said Eric Wallace didn't find out about this whole thing until Tuesday.
Didn't find out about what the whole
separation.
Tyler, the separation. So imagine if Tyler would have said yes.
It would have been it would have been another Superman, obviously.
But he would have still been wearing the same suit.
Right.
He would have been in a new suit because they obviously didn't make this decision until later on down the line.
Well, then they would have, but they would have simply been like, "Oh, well, that Superman obviously he's a doppelganger, so he's got a similar suit as the one."
Got a new suit and got really, really powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's they would have done that. Michael with the $2 super chat. I'm tired of seeing Tom Cavanaugh. I don't know why that made me laugh. Like it's just random, just to the point. I'm tired of seeing Tom Cavanaugh in the Flash. There's a lot of people complaining about his performance in this episode.
It was like I said, it was over the top. It was meant to be over the top.
He was meant to be a corrupted version of what he already was, which was already a bit like
unhinged and nutty.
Yeah, a bit unhinged and a bit psycho. So of course he's going to be over the top.
It was just screaming that was hilarious.
So going into, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do this. I had it set it up here in a second spot, but Cecile is like the most disliked character on the show, right?
Oh, this is the thing. You have the West Allen cult who are all, they're worse than Snyder cultists. They're psychotic. And then you have normal people. Normal people and West Alleners agree that Cecile is terrible. When you get I don't even know what the comparison is in regards to this. Like, I don't even know what's the most like different two-sided groups that then agree on something.
Yeah,
I can't think of anything. and everyone agrees Cecile sucks. Like, sucks, you know what? Like, it's just terrible. And the thing is that why? I have to know. I feel like Eric Wallace accidentally sent a picture of his ass to Danielle Nicolette, and she is blackmailing him because I have no idea what is happening. I need, because I have an explanation as to why maybe, and this is a big maybe, Cecile was so focused on in this season. I have a theory, not a game theory, a Cecile theory.
Okay,
do you think, and Lance, get ready to twerk, do you think that Cecile was propped up so much because they knew that Iris wasn't going to feature in the end of this season? So they wanted, and Caitlin wasn't either. So they needed a female character to have screen time.
And Allegra is not well received either.
No.
And he's saying, I thought Allegra was the worst. Allegra was the worst, but she didn't have a lot to do other than her, like.
You heard my review. I said Cecile is acting as if she's the female lead.
Yeah, you did.
But do you think that's why? Do you think it's because they knew they weren't going to have the other two, the hierarchy? You have Iris, and then you have I was going to say what is it, Caitlin? They're the next two. You have Iris, then Caitlin, and then it would be Cecile.
Well,
I wouldn't. The hierarchy.
I wouldn't say it's because they didn't know, though, because
no, I'm saying
we know that we know that they knew, but honestly I think they just purposely they purposely write Cecile in a what am I trying to say? In a bigger role.
It's a bloated
way. But I honestly think if we were to not have those extra episodes, they would have brought Iris back, but and this is sad to say, but they would have cut out all of the time stone stuff. They would have cut all that. They would have cut all of that extra out.
Yeah.
Iris
wouldn't have had any storyline.
Yeah, she wouldn't have had any storyline. She would have just showed up at the end, and it would have been Cecile, because obviously Cecile was the big MacGuffin. She was a plot device and to bring in the other forces to save the day.
Bingo. Okay, so here's the deal with Cecile. Not only is she pointlessly walking around telling us how people feel.
I hate that so much.
Barry.
Oh my God.
Barry, hold on. Eric. You're hurting. Fucking shit. Fucking shit. Like,
so
seriously.
Someone said, they're like, you know how to make her power more useful, easily make it more useful, to be able to pick up emotions before they happen instead of just reading how people feel.
Eric, I need you to understand. This is like, what, half an hour? Maybe an hour tops after Iris is being killed by lightning, and he's seen this new Eobard Thawne that he just put all this trust and love into, which is Mina's partner, and
they're
Iris
devastated.
Goes, and so
they're devastated.
Cecile says, "Barry, you're hurting. I can feel it from Mina." It was like, no fucking shit. They've just been our two loved ones, not just people we knew. But
and Barry's like, I'm gonna go after him in the negative speech.
You want
revenge.
It's like. It's like me slapping Eric on the face and me going, that must hurt. It's like, yeah, you just slapped me. Like, what?
It reminds me of, this is probably going to be lost on a lot of people, but in Star Trek The Next Generation, there's a character called Deanna Troi, who was a ship counselor who had empathetic powers. And she did kind of the similar thing in the earlier seasons. She got better as seasons went on, but she really was kind of the same character where she would just tell them how the aliens feel, like they're feeling sadness, or whatever. And then there was a joke character with Sigourney Weaver in Galaxy Quest where all she did was tell the computer what to do. There's these characters where they literally just do these things. Now, the worst thing about Cecile is her powers never, quote unquote, leveled up. She literally was getting help from the positive forces because they needed her to free them just in time to Care Bear Barry to give him powers. So she honestly her character had no development. And they put her in a position where she stole people's powers. She thought she was stealing them and didn't care. And the thing is, she had the nerve to bring them with her and then tell them to shut up and just do what they need to do. And I'm like,
you know, it just feels as if
worst character. Worst.
KG, along with what you said about the whole Iris thing, she has more screen time than Joe. Like, way more screen time. Eric Wallace knew that they were talking to Jesse L. Martin about leaving. They wrote her in his spot as well, but this time they did it worse.
This is now a trigger image. Like if I was
that
if
music, whenever that music played in the show, I was like, no.
Yeah, it sounds like like when you're like you got speakers or something, and like there's another electronical device next to it, gets a bit of static. It's like that. But I must say, if someone here is sick enough and twisted enough, or maybe a bit kinky enough to potentially want to torture me, Lance, or Eric again, or not again, just maybe Eric again, but any of us, that image of Cecile,
this one
would be a good starting point. I mean, I'm triggered. That is on my computer.
She's so you shouldn't be this annoying, and you shouldn't be okay with your character being this annoying. Like the frustration that Barry had, I honestly feel like it was really coming from Grant, because you're saying stupid lines I don't need you to tell me how I'm feeling. I just watched my wife get killed by the lightning that I threw. But no, I'm devastated.
Right.
No, it's like you're hurting. It's like, oh yeah, I ordered my Uber Eats to the wrong address, and I can't get there. It's gonna be cold. Like that's why I'm really triggered. Like
go home to your wife and child.
The issue is that I feel bad for Danielle Nicolette, despite her stupid comment about the cameo, because she's not the one writing it.
Right.
However, I feel she's put in this position because of everything else around the show, because they knew, well, at least going into it, they knew that they thought they weren't going to have Candace, and they, I guess, assumed they weren't going to have Caitlin.
Right.
Oh, sorry, Danielle Panabaker. So they weren't able to write storylines that included them. And as I said, I think it's because she's the next one down in the food chain in regards to a female character.
Yeah.
That they can utilize and turn into a plot device.
It just felt overbearing, and I know this turned into like a Cecile roast. We're going to move on to Iris here in a second, but
swap her out with Top at this point.
I mean, like Reddit is having
the thing is, I saw people saying that they would have been more excited if the cameo was like Goldface or Amino Black.
All right, Michael, we're $2 super chat. Are we getting a new actor to play Frog? No, because Caitlin is or Danielle's coming back for.
I think people. I don't think a lot of people knew that Danielle Panabaker was pregnant, so that's why she wasn't there.
She probably wasn't even in that scene, to be honest. It was probably a stunt.
Well, it was probably no one. It was just you could just see smoke.
No, it was a stunt double in there. She posted the photo. It was just a stunt double for some reason.
You couldn't even really see it in the episode. So I don't know why they really bothered with that. Anyway.
Rebels coming 9 super chat. Please stop saying love. So next season there'll be another.
Well, don't worry. Stargirl's continuing at the leveled up.
Oh no. So do you remember this all started? I blame the "We Are the Flash" thing, because that is what started this whole like catchphrase on the show. So
what was the season? What was the season like? Did season 7 have one?
I
guess it was Mommy and Daddy.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the kids, like Mom and Dad. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, do we want to address the people trying to like fan force stick the Force storyline?
What do you mean?
Remember I sent you that tweet? I won't name the person.
No. What are they saying?
Saying the Forces are actually good characters.
Oh, never. No, we're not even going to go into that.
Not go into that.
Well, I wouldn't say they're bad characters.
Mm-hmm.
They're just badly written.
Yeah, so they're bad characters. So
no, they're not. Lance for they were better this time around.
I actually think Dion by himself is good. He's fine.
The negatives were written to be unhinged and crazy, so they came off annoying.
Yeah,
but them as the positive forces, they were fine to me this time because they weren't saying mommy and daddy.
But they were in one scene.
Paigey, that's the point.
So we're saying that if the Force storyline was one scene, then we would have gone out going,
yeah, probably.
Yes, and we wouldn't have had to hear a grown man calling Grant Gustin daddy. Although
we might have to hear it once, maybe once.
Actually, we do hear that. We hear that from Bart and
someone older than him. Someone older than him.
Nora's older than him.
Yeah.
Wait, Nora's older than who?
Grant.
Yes, the actress is older.
Oh, you mean the actress? Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
So Staggervore says, should we talk about the next Star CW acquisition, because a lot of people may be confused on what it means for the network moving forward. So I did a video about this, but I see a lot of people still asking about it. I don't know if it's actually happened, but it is going to happen. Nexstar will acquire the CW for $100 million debt. So they are taking on that money that is owed. So essentially they are buying the CW for that debt. They will have 75% stake, and Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery will both split the remaining amounts down the middle.
Which
Yeah,
was
go ahead.
always the case. Like that was pretty much said out of the get-go when the thing was announced. It's like,
Yeah,
Nexstar will get the vast majority, and Warner Brothers and Paramount, or at the time CBS, or Viacom CBS will split the remaining, and so they have a stake in it. So then they can they have like a first sort of like
right.
shout on the shows potentially they go.
But
there.
this also means that Nexstar can seek out other production studios to do content.
But and the talk around that is that most, if not all, of the stuff that's actually on the TV, like in the primetime slots, will be from Warner Brothers and Paramount.
Yeah.
And Nexstar's more going to be seeking out stuff for the streaming side, and hopefully trying to get stuff that only they have at that point. So maybe there's like a bingeable show that's got like 8 seasons or something. They could get the rights to it, so people will then have to watch on the CW app.
And that does not mean, Skyhawk, that we will not have a lot of scripted programming. They're going to be more careful, which is why we're getting all the cancellations, because I honestly think that's how they're racking up debt. They're spending all this money on these pilots that are getting horrible ratings. They're going back to, looking at live viewership. They're being a regular TV network. They're not just going to throw anything out there and see what sticks.
I think it's a bit of both. I think like Tom Swift obviously wasn't performing on the live thing, but then again, I don't know how it was going on the streaming side, because Nexstar clearly wants focus on the streaming side as well. But something wasn't performing there either alongside the live.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, I watched the pilot, but I hadn't seen any of the other episodes. Michael West here with $2 super chat. Barry kept saying Thawne killed Iris. I thought that was weird too, because clearly Barry killed Iris, but he was bad because she resurrected Thawne, I guess. Lone Wolf here, $2 super chat. Eric, give me less Cecile, give me more Sue, please. So Paigey and I went back and forth on this. I thought Sue was fine, but a lot of people don't like that character.
I think Sue's fine in small bursts, but so is Cecile.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the Iris stuff with the time stone. So she's in the time stone with Damien, and he's explaining that time. Help me out with this, because this is a very confusing story. Time wasn't done with her. So when she got absorbed into Eobard to give Wellsabard a rebirth, somehow she also went into the time stone.
It's more along the lines of time didn't want her to die, so I'm guessing time interfered in her getting hit.
But then how did she power Wellsabard?
Unclear.
Love Eric.
It doesn't make a lot of sense though, because if she powered Wellsabard, then that would mean it would require her energy to do that. But if she went into the time stone, then what was powering Wellsabard?
Belief.
The fact that he had Iris inside him.
There's no answer to this.
There we go.
The issue is there's no answer to this, because it's literally shiggity plot device. That's pretty much what it is, and they needed an out.
I was clarifying that I didn't miss something, because sometimes I miss stuff. So I'm like, maybe there was something that I missed there.
Sometimes is a bit of a loose.
So Damien tells her that all the times that she has been safe over the years, including the Savitar battle, was because it 100% a lie, but it's because she was able to save herself. That's not true.
Well, actually, it's not true unless we're being misled, because we did see the HR particles show up again. So maybe he didn't kill himself for her that time. Maybe she turned around and punched Savitar and stabbed him.
I don't have an issue with them trying to give Iris more power, like agency to her character, because I've always wanted that for her character. I feel like she's always been this damsel in distress. But just telling us that she's not a damsel in distress is not the same as actually not making her a damsel in distress. And there have been times where they have gone out of their way to make it so Iris is a bit more present. the Mirrorverse storyline is probably one of the best examples of Iris actually actively trying to do something to save herself. But there's a lot of storylines where she's just been there for Barry to rescue. And whether or not Iris actually needed rescuing, the fact is that was the catalyst for what Barry was doing, 90% of the time on the show. So that was such a stupid dialogue. And Neil did a great job in the scenes, but it didn't make any sense, right? So, and yeah, she did kill Savitar in the end, but she did not do it by herself. And then by her like using Speed Force energy to get out of the time stone.
I didn't get that. I think it was just Eric Wallace, I think, said it in one of the interviews that there was no much. I don't think there was much thought around exactly what she was doing, but they just gave her a cool visual effect.
Make it green. Like, why make it Speed Force lightning? It was just really, really, really dumb.
Because it's that spark that her and Barry.
Well, it was more than a spark.
Other.
It looked like someone throwing gasoline on it.
The problem is either give her powers or take them away. Like this game of like sometimes she's got Speed Force energy, sometimes she has time powers. Like it's a game. It's just really stupid.
They needed her to level up, Eric. That was her way of leveling up.
By the way, Eric Wallace's explanation on non-powered people leveling up really made me want to. You know when like there's a whole thing about punching a monitor, like sometimes it's like.
What did he say? I didn't see that.
Something.
I have the quote somewhere?
Oh gosh, all right.
I can bring it up. Give me two. Like just speak for a bit.
Yes, I will. So Lance, what did you think of Iris's storyline in this episode? Because that was really it. Once that was over with, she goes and she sees Barry, and that's pretty much the end until the West Island moment at the end of the episode. What did you think of this storyline in the episode? Because we'll talk about time sickness. We talk about the whole season. But in this one episode, this scene, everything that happened, were you happy with this, not happy with this? Just go.
She got more screen time than I honestly expected. I didn't expect to see her until the very end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it was cool for what she got. At least she got to do something. Mm-hmm. Then stand there and, blip people out of existence.
Oh gosh, is this the painful quote?
Yeah.
We saw all the members of Team Flash level up to season 8. We were having Iris break out the time stone on her own. Your way of having her. Which, by the way, did she really? Because Damien,
unless she consistently does that from now on, can just
helped her
go Super Saiyan.
We knew the theme of season 8 was leveling up, and we knew everyone with powers would have to level up. So the non-powered people. So also, I think calling Iris a non-powered individual is a little disingenuous now. It's clear there's something within her.
When convenient, once or twice a season, she has powers.
Yeah. That left Joe, Chester, and Iris. Well, Joe levels up emotionally.
Joe's never there.
Wait for the Chester leveling up.
Chester learns that his pacifism isn't holding him back at all. It's actually that's not leveling up.
That's just going, oh, okay.
That's literally going, hey, I'm good. Like
what?
What Iris had to learn is she is the toughest one of the.
Was that a bit of a twerk on the way out? Hold on. Give us some demonetization keywords to say quickly.
I'm sorry. Iris is the toughest one of the bunch.
She's equally important as a lightning rod to Barry. But you wrote this story to keep. You know what? I'm not going there.
See, this is what I've said previously, and people have tried to have a go at me saying it, but that's the issue. When Eric Wallace explains it like that, that's what you have. It pretty much becomes clear that it's putting Iris on a pedestal for the sake of it without actually feeling the need to go and.
It's the literal. It's like the opposite. She's not a damsel in distress. She's a plot device and the chosen one. Those are two completely opposite things. Where is the in between of that? Where is that?
Cecile.
Where does that exist? This is the other thing that really bothered me. So when Barry decides to go into the negative Speed Force to tackle Thawne, right? He learns that Iris's time sickness started when he took away the power, when he disconnected Thawne from the negative Speed Force, because they literally say everything after you disconnected the negative Speed Force, we've been pulling the strings all along. Except that's not fucking what happened. Iris had her time sickness back in season 7 in episode 16. She was getting sick in season 7. So there's no way the negative forces that popped up after Thawne's disconnection and go, oh, now we're going to give her time sickness. No. That's impossible.
So
it doesn't even make sense chronologically.
Did you like that thing from Eric Wallace then?
Temporal sickness.
Because there's a part 2.
Oh no.
God. I don't read his interviews, Paige. You're giving me a headache.
Well, that's my job.
So we just had to find a way to visualize, realize we're going to Planet Way Back to Armageddon, which was Planet Back.
Did Eric just swear?
Yes, I always swear when I
get naughty.
It's very deliberate.
Naughty
here we
boy.
go. We had to find a way to visualize that when we realized we were going to use the time stone, which was planted very early on back in Armageddon to rescue Iris. To rescue! She was rescued, according to his quote. It's very deliberate. We're like, okay, let's not have someone use the time stone to get her out. But you said rescue. And she was rescued by time because she was killed by Barry.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, let's see her level up in that moment and realize how truly powerful she is. And then you just come up with the visual around that, which is the lightning and the way it's always been with her, that spark and now blossom. This is all bullshit.
He thought he said something with that. He's probably cheesing.
It's all bullshit. Secondly, the fact that they set up the time sickness in season 7, which they conveniently forgot about. This started in episode 16, where Dion and Barry were in the still force talking, and Iris pops up, and Barry's like, what are you doing here? And then they explain that she's got time sickness. They don't actually use the term time sickness. They say that she is sick with something, and he has to protect her.
Technically, there's a part 3.
Oh, God.
I don't even want to read this.
Well, I'll read it. Well, first of all, more scenes with them together, laughs. You know what, Eric?
No, you gotta go. That's his laugh.
You know what? When you get to this part, you could have had it because the girl wanted to be in the episodes. But we'll leave that alone.
No, I'm going to talk about. That's the very next thing we're going to talk about.
I say that with a smile on my. I'm sure you do. But I do understand fans' concerns. You see a lot more Barry and Iris together in season 9, and they're going to be happier and closer than ever, and getting back to something that we hadn't done in a while, which is seeing them face more threats together. You've literally held her in peril since season 6, dude.
Mm-hmm.
She's been.
And remember, we need to switch on those brains because we got to think back. He started off well with Iris in season 6. I don't know if people remember. He started off well, and it was almost like
he started off well in season 8 with Iris.
Yeah, in Armageddon, she was great in Armageddon.
Media stuff. I thought, like, okay, this is a good direction.
Even outside of the Central City media stuff, because I think that was only really relevant in like episode 1. I think in all of Armageddon, Iris was probably the next best character, probably alongside Barry. Now, obviously, that comes down to focus and screen time, but still, they did it pretty damn well. And I thought they'd set up something somewhat interesting going forward with the character this season. But obviously, that was a rare L.
I want to address this because we've only got like 40 minutes before we have to wrap this up. But I want to address this.
You say 40 minutes as if
because time is ticking away here. We're not even to the end of the episode yet. So there's been a lot of questions about why Candace was not on like 4 episodes, and quite frankly, in a lot of the season, she was separated from the rest of the cast. And there was a lot of speculation, and a lot of it was actually warranted because we didn't know what was going on, and it's clear something was happening. So we have this statement from her. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Actually, I will. Let me just read it.
Just the middle one's probably.
My season 8 contract was designed by myself and my team in such a way to protect myself in the event that the borders between Canada and the U.S. closed again, making it extremely difficult, if not impossible, to get home to the U.S., which is paramount to me. That's an important thing there. My team and I made it clear at the time of negotiation signing, which would be back before season 8 ever even happened. And throughout the season, that should the coronavirus and border situation around summer, fall of 2021 continue to stay optimistic, and it was clear at that time it would, that I would be more than happy to be featured in all episodes. That option was ultimately not exercised, and I respect that decision. I hope that offers clarity and really hope everyone enjoyed the season overall. So everybody's going to get a moment to talk about this, but I want to say, number one, I have to respect her hustle here because she secured her bag before she made the statement. She had her contract signed for next season, and this season was over when she made the statement, which means that if she said that last part about I was available to work and they didn't use me in any of the episodes, there wasn't any way for them to try and squeeze her in if they could. So she waited until the season was over to say that, which is a big thing. Secondly, if this was something that was discussed back at the beginning of the season when they were scripting out all the episodes and the timelines, and already it's chaotic. We know that this season was the tail end of like all the madness with COVID, right? So we know that they were kind of scrambling through. They didn't know how many episodes they were going to have. Then they got extra episodes. So there was a lot of chaos involved with that. They were writing out the season, and I'm not giving Eric Wallace a pass on this because we've already established his structuring of stuff is not great. But I'm pretty sure that they had everything planned out, including episodes with like Allegra, the Barry episode where he gets older and all these things. And they had time allotted for other characters or other actresses who have contracts where they have to appear in X amount of things. Yep. So that's what they did this around. You can't be like, okay, I may have to leave for 4 episodes, but I'm available if you need me. And then have them write stuff for you in those episodes only for you not to be available, and then they have to scramble to fill that space. From a filming standpoint, it makes more sense that they went ahead and just went on with whatever they had planned and just moved to that direction. Like, it doesn't make any sense that they would start writing things in for no reason to fill in time on episodes because she was available. That doesn't seem fair to anybody, right? But the writers, the directors, the other actors.
I have to play devil's advocate on Candace's side because one, Eric Wallace just right off the bat said I knew we were only going to have Candace for a certain amount of episodes. This contradicts that because the border never closed.
Right.
So she was going back and forth. She was doing that during Armageddon. Eric Wallace
while it was airing or while it was filming?
Both.
Because my assumption here is that if she was available, they would have to literally write her into episodes that she was not in.
They could have done it in the writing process and the filming process. They could have done that because you have to remember Jordan Fisher was not supposed to be in the back half of this season at all.
Right, but there's a difference between something happening and you having to be there and taking away time from other people. Like, if they included Candace in episodes, they would have had to cut someone else's time.
But they cut her time in earlier episodes. That my whole thing is,
right,
you were cutting her out of episodes before she would have even needed to be cut out. All of those like middle little interlude episodes where we would only see her for 2 seconds at a time. And she said she's fine with it, but honestly, I don't think she is, because if she was, she wouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, I don't think she's fine with it at all. I think she's upset about it. Absolutely. This statement.
She called Eric out on his BS because why would you get online and just make up a whole blatant lie?
Yes.
Just tell the truth. You tell the truth, we'll respect you more. It's just a mess.
Yes. So what I'm going to say here, though, is I don't think either one of them is being 100%. I believe the truth of this is somewhere in the middle.
It's always the case. There's always the truth is somewhere in the middle. It's
I
never on one
think
side.
that she may feel hurt because she wanted to be in those episodes and Eric Wallace just decided not to do it. But I also don't know how logical or feasible it would have been for them to write her into those episodes without subtracting other things that had to happen. I don't know the logistics of that.
And you got to remember the stuff where like Lance is referring to is like
which ones?
Months, like
the
3
Jordan
months
Fisher stuff, or
no, the Jordan Fisher stuff is clear because in the Into the Still Force episode when it's just Nora, and Nora's by herself, they had Bart off screen, so they just sort of set that up like testing the waters with Nora without Bart after his introduction. Right. So I didn't know about that, but that makes sense based off the Into the Still Force thing and everything like that.
I just want to say that this statement for me is fine. Like I don't have an issue.
No, it's fine, but it's also like
the bottom half of that is pettiness, and I'm not saying that in a like.
Which one?
The part where she says that she was available and they chose not to do it. That is her basically throwing shade at Eric Wallace. That's 100% what that is.
Yeah, but it's also I think the thing is that And I've had West Islanders like tweeting me and subtweeting me when this sort
They've
of
been
statement.
targeting all of us, bro. Like,
But this statement proves exactly what was said last season and how it would have led into this season, which is that
early on
is that she had
right.
issues being in Vancouver if there wasn't any COVID stuff, because unfortunately Candace was by herself. Everyone else,
that look, getting home to the US, which is paramount to her, meaning that that was the most important,
whether it's LA or wherever her family's from. Is it like,
I want to make this very clear. Number one, I have no issue with Candace wanting time off. Like if she wants,
they all do. All the actors do.
Yeah,
Carlos, remember Carlos, and he'd take like there'd be like 2 episodes where he's not there.
Yeah. I have no issue with her wanting time off. I also have no issue with her, whatever her contractual negotiations are as a person. More respect to her. I respect that she secured all of her money. She got her contract stuff in order.
But that's also another issue, is I don't think people realize, because the contract was only for a certain amount of episodes, if Eric Wallace wanted to activate more episodes for her, they'd have to fork out more money.
Yes.
Candace isn't going to work for free.
Right.
So that's very important. That's the same with anything.
What I'm saying, though, is that from the standpoint of work ethic or whatever, I think she could have told us the first half of that about, not being there and this is why or whatever, and then ended it with, I hope that clarifies things and everyone enjoyed the season. The last part for me personally was not informing us of anything. It was throwing shade at Eric Wallace, which is fine if that's what she wants to do. She's a grown person. She can do whatever she wants. But I feel like that extra part seems like super petty. And that's fine, because maybe there is something going on behind the scenes. Lance, maybe you're right. Maybe there's an issue between her and Eric Wallace that we are not aware of, that we don't know is going on. Maybe
I think it is, just from the way he writes her. And I know last season, her just up and leaving, that's never good. Like we were not wrong about that.
Well, that's why we have the time sickness.
Exactly. Like we were not wrong. It's no way.
But they keep acting like the time sickness was a real storyline. We know it wasn't. We know it's not.
We know it's not, and we know it's not a good. It wasn't written well at all.
I will also say that this is what I wanted from her, though. I wanted her to address this.
Yep.
So I respect her for doing that. But I will say the expectation to be put into episodes when you were not there or you were not scheduled
and when they had to plan in advance the season storyline,
because it's not just Eric Wallace. We're talking about writers, directors, actors. Everybody behind the scenes would have to readjust just to include her for like a 1-minute scene. And I don't know if that was feasible or if it was
possible. To agree with Maddie. Candace may be jealous of the secret Daniel Nicolette and Eric Wallace love affair. There might be some jealousy from Candace.
There's a lot of people who seem to think that I have an issue. Like I have something. I've had people trying to accuse me of I have something personal against Candace. I don't know Candace. Like, how could I have a personal issue with her?
Well,
how could I speak about her personally? I don't know her.
Well, you know Candace.
Yes, I do. I can only speak about what we're told, and to me, it's very clear that she's happier when she's not stuck in Vancouver. I don't think that's a big secret. I don't think it is.
Well, Eric, can we go 48-hour challenge, Vancouver edition? Would you stay sane?
I don't know. I've only been there like once. So, Emmanuel here with the $10 super chat. Arrowverse deserves to end better. This is the second most successful DC universe after the DCAU animated universe. But the showrunners ruined this universe. They made horrible decisions.
I would say it's the Arrowverse is much more successful in regards to a monetary standpoint.
Yeah. Do you agree that this is not that the way they're going to end this is going to be bad now that we know that Superman and Lois is not?
Well, we don't know.
Of the Earth.
I mean, we don't. The Flash
no
could
one knows.
knock it out the park. I mean.
We have Martin here with some super chats, a 1990 super chat. I feel like people who continue to say that they want blood work back don't actually want blood work for blood work. They only want him to return because of some fan fiction theory where he fuses with someone else to become Red Death. Is there more to this question?
I think the ... might have just been like,
no, here we go.
I don't know.
Another night. Thank you, Martin. A character that was name dropped 3 years ago and still hasn't shown up.
In a alternate erased future or at that
timeline.
Well, don't we know based on the comic that Bloodwork is supposed to be coming back?
Yeah, but I think Martin might be looking at it as in like if Bloodwork comes back as a big bad. I don't think he is. I think he's there for a specific plot reason that we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to tell Canada Graphs he was kind of right.
About what?
Those comics. Those might not pan out.
No, didn't Eric Wallace say that they Do I have to go back to my quote?
Do we
Where's my
keep listening
quote?
to Eric Wallace?
So Naruto, my rankings will stay the same as they were last time. I believe.
Oh.
What, season 8 being the best season? Is that what you're laughing at?
No, the quote.
Oh. What is this one here?
I will say that those comics are canon and they aren't lying.
How? They're lying in the titles.
Why?
Superman and Lois and Stargirl are not Earth.
But this is the
Stargirl.
but not Eric, Lance. This is the Flash.
Then they could have just named all. Honestly, they could have just named all these comics the Flash because they literally were about Flash characters the entire time.
Well, I'd say Earth Prime number 6. I don't even know why they called it Heroes Twilight. Should just called it Bart and Nora meet the Justice League.
And
Probably
if we're,
called that.
if we're being honest, they made it seem like they never rediscovered the multiverse because they were shocked that it was a alternate Superman and the Needle from Stargirl's universe. So I'm like, you go that far and never rediscover the multiverse? They're never crossing over with Superman and Lois.
Well, it's very important to remember alternation.
True. The timeline is malleable.
I would love to rank all of them again, but I will say that I'm not going to go through my list again. Season 8 for me is somewhere in the middle of my pack.
I'm putting season 8 right after season 4. Best season right there. Number 4 is my number 1.
Canada Grass with a $10 super chat. Studio would have been the ones to sign the contract, not Eric Wallace. So he told Eric he only had her for 16 episodes. I don't fault Eric. So Canada Grass is saying it's the studio's fault because they would have been the ones to confirm how many episodes Candace would have been available for. Does that sound good? Sound right?
Was she even in 16 episodes?
I don't think she was in 16.
She was out for 4 in a row. I guess she was in episodes. She was in episode 6. Well, she's probably in like 14, but like a good 3 of those were like end credit things. So like 11 proper episodes.
Yeah,
I'd say maybe 12. I don't know. Just going off the top of my head.
But my last statement on the whole Candace thing is I'm glad she talked about it. I don't know if there's an issue with Eric Wallace or the studio. The statements that she made seem to be sort of shady at the end, but.
As we call you, as society calls you, you are the Arrowverse Keemstar, so it's your job to jump into the drama and alert us all. So we're expecting your new series launching on Wednesday to dive into this entire thing. Seriously, the fact that this has been a meme for 2 years and Eric still hasn't taken advantage of it confuses the hell out of me. Eric could have 100,000 subscribers if he literally did DC. Mate, he would have made $1 bajillion just off the Ezra Miller drama in itself.
How? When I would get demonetized over like 90% of that story.
Super thanks in the chat. That's why, Eric. Become members.
I guess.
Join our drama streams. Become a member for $5 a month.
Okay, so this episode here, we had Chester, Allegra, Bart, and Nora that were sort of pointless. They didn't really do much. I mean, I guess you could argue the kids helped out with Mina when they tried to fight Eobard, but other than that, they didn't really do too much in the episode.
It's clear they were there just in case, like they booked them in advance just in case this was it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much. And then they might have changed certain things around to, you know.
Yeah, we had Jay and Joan providing the info for Joe about Iris. I was kind of shocked they were the future versions because I'm like, wait a minute, they look exactly the same as they do, like 40 or 20 some years from now. So that speedster, well, that would explain Joan then. I don't know.
She wears sunscreen when going out. I think that's probably why.
Where was present day Jay? Just sitting in the house like, I see all of this darkness. What's going on?
Yeah, no clue.
He was off world.
What did y'all think about Team Flash just watching the news while all that destruction was going on with Eobard? Like all that drama that was happening, and they're sitting in Star Labs watching the news as everybody's getting attacked. That was pretty funny.
Wait, I just thought of something else. Remember in negative part 1, they said Jay and Barry were off world in the future, right? If Jay came back and then brought Joan to present day, where was Barry?
Yeah, why didn't he bring future Barry with him?
Would it be about interacting with yourself?
No, definitely
No,
not.
no.
Are we
'Cause
sure?
he's
Yeah.
interacted with himself before.
Yeah,
They
we've
could have
never.
at least said
Yeah,
something.
but was that past the point of where you realized, oh, maybe you shouldn't do that again?
They could have said something though, because now, he just immediately he got back conveniently in time to miss.
Not only
them.
that, we know Kid Flash is in the future as well. Still Kid Flash.
He was
Like,
meditating.
so-
You can't break that, Eric. You gotta let him finish.
So anyway, we have Barry go into an epic battle with Eobard, who has that ugly, ugly suit that I think could have been made to look a little bit better if it just had a chin strap, but that big open neck just made it look even worse, I think. I know y'all were like, oh, it's supposed to be ugly, but I still can't get over just how absolutely ugly it was. It just was not, it didn't even fit right. It looked very stiff. It just wasn't a very good. I would have rather him just kept the reverse Flash suit.
It was Dominatrix Reverse Flash, duh.
Well, it wasn't even Dominatrix. It was like a gimp suit.
Yeah, it was bad. It just, and the fact that it was like black against a dark, like the whole background was dark. It just.
Well, the issue is there was small detailing on it that you couldn't even see in the episode.
Wasn't it supposed to be like red? Like
it looked like pulsating energy almost coming out of him.
Yeah.
But actually on the suit. And the only time you can see it in like two scenes. When he first lands or like arrives back out of the negative speed force, and then when Barry sort of like takes in the other forces and like there's that big flash of light. And you can sort of see the detailing on him. But so it's sort of like, oh, I don't know why it wasn't filmed very well to show the detailing.
So we have this thing where the positive forces finally get free because of Cecile's MacGuffin. They Care Bear themselves into Barry. Barry doesn't get a new suit. He just gets like a different, like the rainbow colored lightning. And he basically just goes at it with Eobard. They're fighting and fighting and fighting. And then Iris is like telling him he shouldn't fight. He should just, I guess, I don't know what she's basically. He basically decides to meditate. And
that scene from the comics in there. That's all.
Yeah. And
yep, Rebirth.
Yeah, and Wellsabard starts to like destroy everything, and and Barry reverses time, and then causes Eobard to absorb all of.
See, this was my last hope. This scene was my last hope that Damien Dark was not the cameo, because the last time he meditated, he said Max. So this was my last thing. I was like, oh, maybe it is Max Mercury, and Max Mercury sort of helps him, and there's like a scene with him. Because once again, I'm going for that journalist quote where they said scene. So this was my last hope. I was like, oh, please save Daniel Nicolette from more targeted harassment.
I will say though, I
Jesus Christ.
All the special effects and the fighting was good. Like all of
there was one.
really
I don't like the hentai tentacles. I don't know why they brought them back.
I laughed.
Once again, I have to. Does Eric Wallace like tentacles?
I don't know.
Well, if we get
the deep, huh?
Well, these were like big tentacles. These were like alien. I'm telling you what, if we get tentacle monster next season, I am questioning things.
So,
oh, by the way, Eric got one of the props from When They Go to the Future in the background there.
Which one?
Just the light beam. When they just put the light beam against structures to make. They did it.
Make it look futuristic.
They did it last. I realized I went back and watched episode 19. And I realized, they had like orange light beams or something like that against the walls. I was like, that's how you know we're in the future.
The future's Amazon. The future's Amazon.
Yeah, it's LED light beams.
Do you think this was worthy of a season finale battle? Was this big enough for you to be like, yeah, this was the bomb? Like, I loved it. Like,
it was longer than Superman and Lois's.
Okay, fair enough.
I thought it was. I thought it was fine. Like, I think this finale as a whole was just decent. I think it just did what it needed to do, even though I think the negative stuff from it, or the bad stuff from it, is the bad stuff that we've been experiencing mainly in this storyline, or at least like the final 5-6 episodes. And yes, it starts with a C, ends with an E, and starts with a P and ends with an E.
Martin here with another 1999 super chat. Thank you so much, Martin. Question for those who enjoyed the lightsaber fight: if Zoom returned and he pulled out a lightsaber, would you be happy?
Only if it was in the style of Spaceballs.
The lightsaber fight for me was like a big problem. I mean, I thought.
Oh, by the way,
I had an issue with it. I don't
is
know.
Spaceballs like impossible to watch or find anywhere? It's like not on any streaming service. You can't even buy it off iTunes.
Let me see.
Or maybe is it banned in Australia? I'm not too sure.
It says that you can watch it on Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, and Vudu here in the United States.
Well, not the case here. Maybe I know. Maybe it's got a different name here. When I watched the first time, it's called Spaceballs.
I have a good question.
Yeah.
So we know that the negative forces did all of this because they were mad that Barry severed Thawne's Speed Force connection.
Mm-hmm.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if Barry would have just let Thawne die, wouldn't it have been the same thing? If Thawne was the avatar they needed, if Thawne died.
Well, here's the thing. I think this whole season, going down that path you have there of thought, how did this all even happen? To be completely honest, how did the original Eobard end up where he was, doing the things he was doing? That we didn't really figure that out because we know that he was killed in Legends. Because
at this point, I think it was Dion. I don't think it was the time race. I think they're trying to say it was negative Dion putting things in place.
But still, it seems like what a convoluted. Like, why did they kill Welzabard just to bring him back to life? What significance did that have with the Eobard that they were creating? Like, did Eobard have to have Speed Force? None of that was ever explained. Did he have to have negative Speed Force in him? Is that what it was? Because if that's the case, then why did Iris have to go into side of Eobard? Like, I don't.
Well, wasn't it the negative tachyons or something like that? But you need like a pure source for it because Eobard at that, like the good Eobard, Mina's Eobard was just at that point sharing her speed. Like he would have lost.
Right, but what I mean is like it doesn't seem like there was any real rhyme or reason to this.
It was a bit. It was a bit rushed. I would have preferred maybe if the end of last episode. I know they want to end on a cliffhanger, but it felt like I understand why, because like they try to make it clear in episode 19 that Iris had negative tachyons within her.
But the thing is, we've already established that the time sickness thing started in season 7.
The whole thing is just messy.
Yeah, and that's why I think if you actually sat down Eric Wallace and went, going into season 8, would you legitimately have wanted to use the time sickness? He would have said, fuck no. He wouldn't have wanted to.
I mean, it just seems a little weird to me that they killed Eobard to bring him back to life inside of Eobard, who was already using the negative Speed Force, which, by the way, why did they need him? They seem to be able to defeat all of them without any trouble, and they weren't hurt or anything like that. And all the positive forces had no avatars. I don't understand the motivation.
And then you know what else? So apparently, Mina's idea to make the Speed Force was never hers in the first place. It was the negative forces.
Right.
So then why did you need Thawne to do?
My biggest question, I think, with all this going into what you were saying is we have to first establish how Iris got sick, because we still don't know how that happened.
I don't think we ever will.
Because once you establish that, then you can sort of line up everything else. But without establishing what caused that, there's no way to really understand how any of this happened, to be honest. Because they mentioned the negative still force in Armageddon.
Yeah.
But she was already sick at that point. And they claimed that Eobard was manipulating the negative still force. But if the negative still force wasn't being used until after Eobard lost his powers, then how was that set up? How was that used earlier in the story then?
How did the negative still force even factor into that alternate
That's what I mean,
timeline?
because they went to where Joe was killed years and years and years and years ago in that timeline. And there was negative still force particles there. But the negative still force says they were pulling strings after Barry took or severed Welzabard's connection with the negative speed force. Like,
and even then, if the negative speed force was, if he was disconnected from it, why does that mean it dies? Barry lost his connection to the Speed Force several times. It didn't die.
And they're able to connect with other people because Mina was connected to the negative still force.
Exactly.
Speed Force.
This has a lot of holes.
Wait, how is she using the negative Speed Force if it was not there?
How is she not sick if she doesn't have powers anymore?
But how did she even access it? They were mad because it was gone. They severed the connection. How was she able to use it if they had to make it come back, which is why they used.
Why was it randomly attacking Barry if it never randomly attacked Barry before?
And if they needed Barry to do all this stuff, why would they allow Mina to kill Barry or attempt to kill Barry like 3 episodes before that? Because she was using the negative Speed Force. I'm just realizing this season makes no sense at all.
Yeah, no whatsoever.
And what does it revolve around?
The time sickness.
Oh yeah, we figured out. It's why did they go along with it? Why didn't they just say that Iris won like a solo vacation from like a raffle or something like that?
They could have just made her pregnant for all I cared.
I know a lot of people in the chat are trying to sort of like make an excuse for the problems with the writing, and I appreciate y'all's vigor, but the fact that the time sickness existed before season 8 means there's no excuses you can give for what's going on in season 8. I'm sorry. It's not. Marlon here with the Fortnite Super Chat. I think Eric should receive a minor L if he can't use 3 of his favorite words in a single sentence. Bonkers, MacGuffin, and penultimate. Well, I hadn't used bonkers or penultimate. I have used MacGuffin today, I think. So I would have had no reason to use penultimate.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Penultimate episode.
Cecile as a MacGuffin was a bonkers storyline that really played its part and sort of unraveled in the penultimate episode for the season.
All right, so Candace, are you excited Chegra is going to drag into season 9?
Well, speaking of dragging, I would rather drag the old gonads through some broken glass rather than try to experience Chegra again. I just realized all the side characters suck. Chester's okay, but he's involved with Chegra, which brings him down a couple of points. I mean, we've unraveled the Cecile yikesness. And I'm talking about like, new side characters.
I'm sorry. I'm still sort of having brain fog from
by the way,
everything that we're trying to
what are your thoughts on the Caitlyn thing going into next season? Because one thing I was like,
right. So we get at the end of the episode. Let's go ahead and talk about that. There's a malfunction with the machine. There's like Chillblaine is asleep for some reason, and then he wakes up and there's a malfunction with the machine, and the door opens, and we get this weird, like almost like weird voice of Caitlyn's coming out of the machine.
It sounds like Killer Frost.
Right. So what was your question now that we've?
I was going to say, just generally, what are your thoughts going into it? Because I was. Like I've said this on my channel that I'm not too sure if leaving.
Yeah, where was Kramer? I'm sorry.
Well, she hasn't been there since episode.
Can you imagine how useful she would have been in this battle? I mean, it would have been really useful to have her. But
I think Into the Still Force was the last episode she was in. I think because that was when when Chester gets all like worried that someone stole his tech.
Right.
But with Caitlyn, I wasn't too sure that I'd want her to finish off as Killer Frost. But this still has me. But I was sort of in the mind frame that it wouldn't be cool. No pun intended.
I don't know where I want the story to go. I've made
I think the only
videos about Caitlyn's Killer Frost storyline. It's a problem.
Well, the thing that has me worried is that I don't know if she's evil, because I think the cool thing to do to show that she was evil is if it goes, hello, whatever the Caitlyn impersonation is, or Killer Frost. And when Mark, I don't know, I've never called him Mark, but Chillblaine opens up the thing, an icicle just goes through his neck or his head or something, and he's dead. But
I don't know.
This makes me think that she's going to be like an anti-hero sort of again, which seems like a bit of a backstep. I think if you're going to do Killer Frost, because I think even when she was with Savitar, she was still very anti-hero. Like, she never really did anything evil outside of like the potential future where she freezes Cisco's hands.
One thing is, I hate the dual like Incredible Hulk thing where you go from like
I'd pick one or the other. You got to stick.
Secondly,
with it.
didn't Danielle do like an entire thing dedicated to saying goodbye to Frost, like on Instagram and stuff?
But
like that,
was Frost. So that's why I think if she comes back as this meta character, it's got to be evil. It's got to be in like the most pure evil version that we've had.
Yeah.
I'd say probably on the line of maybe the Earth 2 one when she was with that Death Storm. When she was just sort of killing people. Yep. That level. But I don't know if they're going to do that because I don't know if
she's waiting in the dojo to get trained. Talking about Kramer, that's hilarious. He was training Mina. He could have been training Kramer too, but I guess not.
Where did Kramer go?
We don't know.
Like the police were just not out there when Thawne was actively killing people.
Well, they were, and he just toasted them. He blew up a car and put it on fire,
Yeah.
and I think those two cops probably
The last couple of
died.
things that I do want to talk about is we get Mina depowered, so she doesn't have her powers at the end.
How is she not sick?
Well, I think she is sick.
But she's acting like she doesn't care. Like that's something to bring back up.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just like, oh, well, back to the pills. Like that's probably what she's thinking.
Like if they say she had a heart attack off screen and died, which is something Eric Wallace would do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be mad.
The other thing we see is that Cecile has telekinesis now. She's Jean Grey.
The force is with that one.
Hold on.
Introverted Unicorn said, what happened with Chester getting hacked? I think we talked about this, I think, last week. And Paige, you were saying that you believe that mad scientist guy.
That's what I'm assuming. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, the guy that aged Barry, that episode happened after that hacking. So we're assuming that was the follow-up. They just didn't do a good job.
Because he seemed to know a lot about the Flash's speed and stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. What is this?
The coffee cup is mid telekinetic float.
Oh, yeah.
There is the cup.
She's like, I just thought about wanting it, and it was in my hand.
And that's not how telekinesis works, is it?
No, like you...
Oh,
like you say, so if she goes, I wouldn't mind a big belly burger, just flies through the window from like just some other random. It's got like a bite taken out of it.
Yeah, and then we get, of course, a little West Island scene at the end, and then the setup for Cobalt Blue in the future because now we have the blue energy coming off of the crystal.
But they're going to make him a speedster, aren't they? They are going to take the Zoom route and make Cobalt Blue a speedster with a sword. They're going to do it.
There it is. The blue, the Cobalt Blue in some sort of container.
The thing I'm intrigued by is the fact it's in 2049.
Right.
So that makes me wonder, did it exist in the past and someone used it in the present day and we see connective tissue of it in the future, or is the villain legitimately from the future? Which has me worried because surely you won't involve Bart and Nora that much.
I was going to say, does this mean we're going to get more Bart and Nora in season 9 now? Is that what that means?
I'm curious what it is exactly because when I first saw it, I thought these, because I just was like you miss stuff when it's moving because this was only on screen for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
When it lit up, I thought this was fire, but it's just the reflection.
Right.
But there is like energy coming off it, like light and stuff like that.
Alan Hart says June 29th, 2049.
Well, the episode aired on, so it's exactly 20. Yeah. The episode aired on June 29th, I think.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like that. And they would just done that, like I guess changed it in VFX or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact it's in 2049 has me curious. The thing is that I'm pretty sure the area they were in, the room, was Central City University. I
was wondering where that was.
And Bart has his Central City University shirt on in episode 19. So I'm wondering if that plays into it. So like the science department in the university is researching this. So maybe that's... But regardless of the future stuff and how it connects there, I'm just curious to see, did it exist in the present day, or are they going to do something where it's some present day stuff that maybe involves blood work, you Killer Frost, whoever else it might be, and then there's this storyline as well, which maybe plays like the setup is alongside that, or it's just like at a point, someone saying inertia, it doesn't give me inertia vibes at all, but because it's in the future and it could involve Bart, they could do inertia.
Yeah.
But would he actually be a clone?
I was going to say, is he going to look like
it could be something that just replicates. So it might not be a clone, but it maybe like replicates powers, which is what Cobalt Blue's powers do.
Yeah, I've seen people say paradox as well because of the whole like the
well, it doesn't replicate, it steals, but you know.
Eric Wallace is fascinated with that particular series.
Yeah, there's a couple of theories. Like Dwayne wrote Cobalt Blue, Paradox, Rajin. I don't know if you do Rajin now, but Eric Wallace has the biggest boner ever for Rebirth, so he might do that as well as Paradox. And Eric Wallace keeps hinting that he's been teasing this villain, this big bad DC Comics villain, for 3 seasons now. I'm like, who? Because the only one I can think of recently is that he's teasing Necron, maybe but he hasn't been doing that for 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who he's referring to there. I don't know if it's meant to be like incredibly obvious or not.
So we have a poll here before we get. I want everybody to share their scores as well in the chat. Let us know what you thought of the episode of The Flash, 1 to 10. And here is a poll I did earlier this week about which finale was better. And 56% said Superman and Lois, and of course 44% said The Flash. And
I think the fact that they're pretty close sums it up. Like they were pretty.
Yeah, this is out of
point.
1.1K votes, which is awesome. Thank you guys for voting on this.
So I botted it.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a really close poll. That, like, I mean, I feel like this is a good description of like, you know, how everybody kind of feels right now with the shows. Yeah, everybody keeps mentioning Red Death defunct, but I don't know if we're ever.
But also, Eric Wallace wasn't the one that set that up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did he write that episode?
I don't remember.
And they gotta remember that was still in an erased timeline.
Yeah, but I don't think that really matters too much. If like he wants to use him, he'll use him.
Yeah.
But I was just wondering if he actually
makes sense.
What episode was that?
I'm seeing scores are all over the place for these 2 finales. I'm seeing like low 5s and 6s, and then some people are giving it.
I think
9.
if anyone gives it like a 5, it's probably trolling.
All right, so I think that's where we're going to wrap it up. We are at the 2 hour and 20-minute mark. That's why we started a little bit early today.
Yep. You know what that means?
What's that mean?
Next week, we start absolutely balls to the wall, pulling stuff out of our asses to go for an hour and a half at the minimum. So get strapped in, get ready for quizzes, get ready for edgy controversy.
And here is the new background.
Uh-oh.
It is the
goodness.
the interlude. It's actually.
What is this? Is this the graveyard?
Catwoman, Flash. Yeah, it's
like. You know, Eric, I have to give you your props. You put the 2 black leads on the outside where they can be seen. I respect that.
Yeah.
They're my favorites.
Except if there was only 2 people here, aka losing the 1 African American in the chat, they would be covered. And yeah. Oh no, okay, maybe not. Okay. I was being a bit too harsh on Eric. Okay.
I placed things in so you can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Behind you, so
don't worry. Okay. Oi. We feel you, Eric. We feel you. It's all good. So however, if there's 4 people here, then everyone's covered. So
yeah,
unless there's like a different layout that you can put the people's boxes in.
So anyway, it's time to announce the winner.
Oh, by the way,
podcast. Yeah, go ahead.
I figured out, you know how someone called Lance Kanye last week? He looks nothing like Kanye West.
No, he doesn't.
But I was watching this thing, and he looks like a comedy special where Kevin Hart has the exact same hairstyle and beard. I'm not even joking.
What?
It was like he went to the same barber and got the exact same trims going on.
I don't know if I can co-sign to that one.
Yeah, it was weird. And it was like Kevin Hart usually has like a shaved head going on. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe I don't know who stole whose style.
I'm going to say that he stole Lance's, I think, if I had to go. So.
Paigey, somebody in the comment section is, they said I guess they're assuming you're black.
I am. Reading a wave, haters.
All right. So, all right, this is the winner for this month. And then starting
hold on.
Why are you keep telling me to hold on? What are we holding on
to? I was going to hype it up. Hold on, do you have your drums there, Lance? I
have to explain first. So the winner for this month will be announced now, and then we'll start the next contest for the month of July. In July, we're going to go up to $40.
Oh,
so it's a $40 giveaway for July. Right?
I think we can see how much Eric made in super chats this past month.
It'll be $40 for the month of July. And I will explain the rules in the very first video that comes out, like, what is it, Saturday? So Monday's video will explain the rules for it. So, and also have to find a new way to do the comments because the pages I was using are like...
The only thing I can think of is... But then again, you don't really want people to click off. It's a bit of a hassle. I don't know how
you mean like go somewhere else to do it?
Yeah, and there's like, something like that. But I don't know.
So
the only thing I can think of is that you put a tweet up and you say reply to this tweet, but then that's only one tweet.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm thinking about how I want to do it, but
you know what you can do in all the videos in the month, you can just put each video in and pick a winner, and then just keep round robbing it down.
Oh, you mean so that way by the end of the month it's just like a list of names and then
So there's one winner from each comment section.
Okay, that way, yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. That's easier. Just write down whoever the winner is for that one video, and then at the end,
and then
that's
go and then
much
split them off.
easier than having to do it the way I
See,
did.
Imagine if I wasn't here, Eric would be freaking hopeless.
So anyway, after going through and painfully figuring this out through all the comments, the winner for the first giveaway,
hold on,
$20 is I'm going to pronounce her name wrong. Laura E was the winner. She won. So Laura, if you are here. Which you were earlier. I don't know if you are still here or not. I haven't seen you comment in a while. I will be getting in touch with you, and I will send it because I believe you use Cash App. So I will send it to you when we're done with the stream, and I'll let you know on social media so that you know to expect it coming through. So coming through. But thank you so much, everybody that participated. We're doing this.
I'm going to predict next month's winner. I'm going to just rub in the old temples right here. I'm going to say... It can be anyone, right? It doesn't have to be members.
It just has to be subscribers. So.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're not subscribed, there's your notification too. My prediction is going to be... it's come to me. Oh, edgy choice. I was surprised by this one. This is my prediction. Maybe Lance might have a prediction as well. Fresh Sounds Florida coming in with the win next month. Oh my goodness!
I was honestly thinking it was going to be Mayada, but maybe not.
Well, the next one I think is going to be only for Amazon. I think I'm doing away with the other one. It's just easier to do it for one. So
Cash App's only Americans. So.
Right. So Laura, I will reach out to you. I'll get it sent over to you. And thank you so much for participating and everybody that participated. But thank you. Congratulations again. And again, I will explain all the rules with the new one on Monday, and then everybody can start trying again. But you have to be a subscriber. You have to leave a comment, and then we'll figure out something to go in there. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, Paigey, for being here and giving me all the L's in the stream.
I have to, don't I?
And check out Lance's channel. He is making content now, so go over and show him some love. Lance, one more time, do you want to tell him what your content is going to be quickly before we get out of here?
Going to be television reviews, might be doing top 10 lists. Like I said, today I just posted my overall thoughts on the Superman and Lois thing, so go check that out. And gonna have some fun.
All right, so that's pretty much it. We'll be doing our boys review on Monday. I'll be able to explain the contest on boys review. So check out the boys review, because at the end of it, we'll be talking about the new contest.
And I'm ready to talk about what happened
this
week on
Boys. Pretty much. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming. I will catch up with everyone in the next video. Bye.